Estamos en vivo. Way to know that we know. Damn, I started this whole rapping. Yeah. We're back once again. Doing what we gotta. Reviewing these goddamn albums. DJ DAX review week continues. We're on day 3. Over here sharing these tweets everywhere we go. Let's see, I'm live. Yeah, we're getting it cracking. We got 2 special albums today. Like I was saying yesterday, 2 very special albums to me that close off the trilogy we started yesterday. Of course, yesterday we heard Artificial EP Volume 1, which is its own thing. But we started the trilogy with Bliss plus Blunder, which was released New Year's 2016. But shout out Obumo first. That's right, Uno. But today, we got Future Fantasy and AURENE, which is just so wildly exciting. If you know anything about the community I'm a part of, then you know that these 2 projects were very interesting in their approach. You know, with the first project, Bliss plus Blunder, and I say first because it was my first in the community, I did things with a pretty standard affair. Yes, Alexia, first in spirit. Her spirit was there first. She was like, I would love to. But with these next 2, the context is wildly different. I mean, Future Fantasy was damn near shadow dropped. I was like, boom, something's coming in 3 days. And, I mean, that turned out the way that it did. I mean, to be fair, spoilers, the way that it turned out is that it did not really get the same amount of attention, which is a sort of a duh, right? Like, I'm not Beyonce. I can't shadow drop, even with 3 days anticipation. And AURENE, on the other hand, was marketed heavily. It had all this hype going in. It even became a season almost post-launch. It sounds like I'm talking about a game here. But I swear, because there's this whole thing where one of the songs on the album had not been unlocked yet. And I can't wait to go into why that is. So yeah, like these 2 albums are... they're going to be so fun to go over. And I also think today is going to be one of the biggest deltas in quality. Because meanwhile, I am a better rapper than I was, for the last 2 albums. And, everything that preceded that. I struggled a lot sonically on one of these projects. And on the other, I was very much, let's say, not at home, but like I had some momentum going into it. So yes, I'm very excited to get into this hoe. It's gonna be a doozy. I'm just preparing the browser here. I think I've sent out all my tweets that people needed to say. But yeah, the time is upon us. Oh my bad. Let's share these goddamn screens. How about it, huh? Hey yo, Daddy Don, what's good, bruh? Hey man, apples are awesome, and being who you are is even more awesome. What's good, man? Let's share this screen here. What we got going on? Right here. Yeah. DJ DAX albums. Let's take it back to 2016 for the latter half of the Pillow Trilogy, starting with Future Fantasy. Let's read the description here. I haven't been doing that, but it's sort of important. So you know what I sold this project as. Hope we need, hope we see, hope will be. Some need to see to believe. But what if what you wanted to see what happened if you believed it would. Boy, oh boy, if that rhetoric sounds kind of straight out of a church, Mr. Bird 2016, welcome. That's because this album, Future Fantasy, is my return to like really introducing people in the community to my faith. The fact that was like a thing, that like really inspires me. But as I jokingly, facetiously say, simultaneously, it was a Final Fantasy themed album. In fact, very inspired by Final Fantasy 13. And that's very poetic, and I'll tell you why maybe at the end of all this. But yeah, that's what informs this project. That it's a Final Fantasy X, my religion, project. Which is gonna be interesting. But yeah, I mean, Final Fantasy fans rejoice. I mean, there's something to keep an ear out. I try to put in a lot of Easter eggs and stuff, a lot of references. And let's get it cracking without further ado, right? I mean, let's get it. All right. Number 1, the song Future Fantasy.
Let's be rational now. Sending the big guns out. What do we do?
Watch and learn.
Nowadays, all I think is how my last mixtape went so well. Still, I never knew it ever reach your brink where thoughts were locked in music hell.
Do my parents care?
How can I tell?
Are my friends there?
How can I tell? Oh well, losing my face, it got me losing my place. So true, but I'm maneuver the stakes. Oh, depression came, melancholy reigns. This tension strains, man, I call it pain. Every day I'm feeling drained. Never pictured I'd be framed. Make some sense of things would change. Life is driven different lanes. Jesus, take the wheel, crying on the dashboard. Way too many close calls. I just wish I'd crash more. The rich are feeling
Jesus.
poor. Every gas sore dying. You and I, the last board. Flying with no passport. Panicking in mind, you would never lie. Hands to the sky. Only I'm the one above it to rely. Life is gonna do or die. Know what's coming to in time. Suicide. Never the kid is saying the good inside. Oh.
All right, that mixing was very strange, very strange. Shut up, Beaster. We're talking 4 years old, my nigga. Yeah, right now we're in this review week. We're in 2016. This is mid 2016. I actually believe around spring. So, but it is. Let's get into it. All right. First of all, this project was a long time coming. For those of y'all watching the stream, which is literally everybody, what am I even saying right now? This album was constructed hella early. Look at this created date on Evernote, my neegs. February 2013. As in, while I was still in the school system, right? A public school system. High school. I was graduating that year. I was constructing this project, right? It was a lot shorter in my head. It was even organized a little differently, but it's what you're hearing now. Years later, in 2016, I finally drop it. So it was literally 3 years coming, right? And where I found myself in 2016 around this point was a very different spot. And it's ironic. And I'm going to try to be swift here because I want to get back into the song. But you hear me mentioning stuff about depression, melancholy, this tension strains, man, I call it pain. All this stuff. Do my parents care? I cannot tell. Are my friends there? I cannot tell. I was going through it. A nigga was feeling a little saddy waddy. And what I can attribute it to is that basically I had already graduated, and what I had realized is that years had passed and I felt like I wasn't going anywhere, and also the friends that I had from high school had dissipated because a lot of those people were just people that were friends of mine because they were around me, not really because there was a genuine interest. And that's not even shade. That's just like a realization I needed to have, right? Long story short, this album is an album that's supposed to be the embodiment of like a positive edge, a positive understanding of life. Meanwhile, where I was finalizing it was one of the darkest times in my life. A time that I, to myself, personally refer to as the Great Stall, because it felt like things were not moving. That being said, the mixing that we just heard on Life Has Been a Do or Die, I Know What's Coming True, Try Suicide, never... Terrible. Let's hear that one more time. Let's keep it going.
Keep my old hopes on the future. Will it get fixed? Bro, I'm too sure every wound will get its suture. Tell them doubt has made me cynical, and still I'm good to go. I'm good to go. I've seen the lowest lows, and still I'm good to go. I'm good to go. People tell me, why not wait till you see? When your eyes are fixed ahead, you got enough to believe. Watch them glow from blue to red, so go ahead and call me Noctis. I know who holds my face, so I keep both hands in my pocket. Shots all I can read it, I ain't chicken when I cock this. Lyrics make your head bang, not throw up your rockfish.
Any keen-eyed, eared Final Fantasy fan will say, nigga, hello? You said not this? That nigga was not even out in 2013 or 2016. What are you talking about? Yeah, I mean, obviously, we know about Final Fantasy 15's development hell. But, yeah, that explains why that even was a possibility.
Her the switch away, so help me God throughout my days. Admittedly, I'm a little afraid. Feeling my heart will cave. My morals have been depraved. I'm thinking no one could save the stoppable little Dave. Every little atom of my matter, we gotta be praying for that fantasy.
Would you look at that?
We have another observer. Come, you really see a thing for where you stand. Not that you're too far away or that you're not tall enough or that your angle isn't the best. It's just that your angle isn't the best. Yes, it's true. It seems you really do believe, or at least you believe you'd like to. Indeed, then come, you'll barely see a thing from where you stand. That angle of yours is human. You stand in natural imitation. Your attempts at doing the supernatural are imitation. Can't you see there's not much to do here? So you might as well hear, dude. Or rather simply see. Some here to see to believe, but what if what you wanted to see could come? If you believed it would. So, come, you'll barely see a thing for you stand. You blind yourself when all you see is that you can. Despite your personal lives, that you try that can't do, do what you can to see. That if you believe, and never stop your hope, and always grasp the goal, you'll be unstoppable. So come. You'll barely see a thing from where you stand. Not that you're too far away.
Okay. Really getting a little, not meta, but sure, let's say meta for now. In that little bit there, that little outro. I will say, remarking on the quality of this song as a song, that first half is tough, meaning difficult. Obviously, it's not the worst of my worst. If y'all have been here for day one, you already know what it's like. But even by these standards of the time, not very musical, I feel. And that's because, to speak to why I had this hiccup, I was going in with something to say, and it seems like that intent almost bogged down my musicality. Which speaks to how, my ability was at the time with this sort of stuff. But yeah, I was very caught up in saying some of these things literally that making it sound good wasn't really like a thing that there was like enough space for almost in my head. Not that I actively said no to it, but But as for this outro, very interesting because we get the theme of the project basically. Pretty encapsulated in this nice kind of like spoken word thing, which I'm still sort of proud of today, both in how it's written and sort of how it's performed and mixed and whatnot. It's supposed to feel like almost like somebody else, another character kind of pulled you out of the setting and is narrating to you in a sort of dreamscape. And yeah, the stage is set. The theme is, what if what you wanted to see, you would see if you just believed you would? Which is basically what I'm getting at is faith, right? Seeing without believing, or believing without seeing, rather. But yeah. And I mean, yeah, faith is all around this project. So, I mean, into the next song, Unstoppable. 1.
Welcome to the movement. Future fantasy. Yeah. Hey. Okay. Believe and see his glory.
That's right. Swerve. Team Future, what up?
Hey, yo. Shout out to God.
Shout out to God.
Go get him.
DAX, I got you. Yeah, I'm so unstoppable. Yeah, I'm on a roll. Got it. I'm so unstoppable. You already know. Got it. This gon' be forever, man. We will never fall. No. Zero starts for zero, not at all. Yeah, I'm so unstoppable. Yeah, I'm on a roll. Got it.
This feels almost like some Sonic song for some reason.
I'm so unstoppable. You already know. Got it. This gon' be forever, man.
Oh yeah, this looks a banger, huh?
Zero starts for zero, not at all.
But peep game.
Fully armed like a long sleeve, going off with the wrong weave. Songs are filled with them timelines, you know I'm not on the wrong team. With the strong heat, rhymes clean like laundry. We kick butt like donkeys, we get live, no zombies. It's not a beginning, but when this is the beginning, I'm getting living the setting. The legend is represented, boy. When I'm beginning the tracks, never forgetting the facts. D to DAX for the center, boy. Advancing my tactics, you fools out of practice. I'm that homie, I'll sit right down to the accent. The bliss fire saber, my lightning be cracking. You know no one does it with any more passion.
All right, a little bit of future Final Fantasy for you. Advanced in my tactics. You know, shout out to that homie Alcid. That Blazefire Saber. We're getting into that. Lightning be cracking. Come on, it's coming. It's on the way.
Cocoon's nothing to you. Stay sharp, watch what you do. Control my fate through and through. I'm no one's slave. How about you? Get it, win it, never finish on a mission now. You know I never be stopping. I keep it when I'm dropping. I mean it when I'm talking. The media's getting nutty.
All right, so I'm sort of flowing. I'm having fun with this verse. Well, also, there's like a lot of Final Fantasy 13 taglines being dropped there. So for those that didn't know going into this project, you'll know by now, especially if you knew about Final Fantasy 13. There's a lot of that shit in here. For whatever reason.
And I ain't stopping now. See future. While they hate on my super skills like Lex Luthor. Kamikaze on the beat boy, spinning like a beat boy, not another decoy, flow like a G-coy. You're tapping a deep voice, coming in a Leroy Jenkins, cause lightning's expected. I'm so unstoppable, yeah, I'm on.
Also, shout out Bazaar in the chat. I'm wearing orange. I'm wearing blue. Basically that flow, right?
Got it. I'm so unstoppable, you already know. Got it. This gon' be forever, man. We will never fall. No. Zero starts with zero, not at all. Yeah, I'm so unstoppable. Yeah, I'm on a roll. Got it.
But yes, how uplifting. I mean, let's be fair. It sucks, but it's uplifting.
Got it. This gon' be forever, man. We will never fall. No. Zero starts with zero, not at all.
King of Kings, Lord of Lords, yeah, we know him well. He proved his own righteousness, no show and tell. We've been redeemed by his blood, homie. Go and tell your friends when Christ comes back, we gon' take off like an open sail. That was my introduction, now on to the main discussion. My G.O.D., he gets the praise, gave me life when I couldn't get nothing. Even made a crib up in heaven, now man made a heavenly dwelling. When he comes back, we'll be with him. So shouldn't your heart be saying something, cause he didn't have to do it,
But he did.
Cause Jesus came to earth to die and save us from our sins. So we will be transformed and acceptable unto him who loves us even though we sin over and over again. God's powerful works are phenomenal. John 11:40, I told you so. Lecrae said it best. I'ma hit him with that overdose. A disciple of Christ. So
all right.
my GPS since I made in his image, bro. It's Christ that I reflect. I'm God.
All right, I'll have you know. Shout out to Trey Perry. That nigga sure tried. That's my man's though. He be rapping his ass off now. But to be fair, in hindsight, that verse very like train of thoughty. Like, you know, God's cool, and also that reminds me how actually God said this thing one time, and you know, to come to think of it, this like that's what it feels like, almost rambly. And like this one man, Solar Flare, back in the day, pointed out to me, I don't really love that there isn't much parity, meaning, you know, parity, between my verse and his verse. He's definitely on a different energy thematically than I am. And that's not great. But, you know, this is one of the last examples of me just working with people because I needed to, like, work with somebody. Like a feature, like, behooved me or something, right? And before I keep it going, he mentioned a verse, which is actually the verse that inspired or is central to this project. I bet y'all didn't think we were going to be reading Bible, but John 11:40 made the church turn. Let's get it. And the people of God said, that's what you say amen for all you heathens that don't understand what I'm getting at here. Jesus raises Lazarus from the dead. And verse 40 says, then Jesus said, did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God? And that's kind of what we're getting at here. That even if niggas are doubting their position, their situation, things are looking dire. If you're over here putting your mind, your heart, your soul, this is a matter of faith. So regardless of the religion being a part of who you are or not, the idea is that if you can hope, then that's how you can see these things happen. But yeah, let's keep it popping.
Yeah, I'm on a roll. I got it. I'm so unstoppable. You already know. I got it. This gon' be forever, man. We will never fall. No. Zero stops for zero night. Yeah, I'm so unstoppable. Yeah, I'm on a roll. I got it. I'm so unstoppable.
You already know.
This gon' be forever, man. We will never fall. No. Zero stops for zero night.
This must knock, bro. Preacher dude rocks, yeah.
That's me.
Fantasy.
Yeah.
DAX. Team Future.
You should be on the track,
Yeah, shout out Trey. Of course. We out here.
Da-da-da. Da-da-da.
I'm so unstoppable. I'm so unstoppable.
Uh-oh. Skit.
You look tired. Not enough sleep?
No, just keeping my eyes open.
Not surprising.
What?
You go like me.
Uh-huh.
It's hard to close your eyes, huh?
Nah, I'm just a little anxious about what's to come. What lies ahead, Man, I'm out here worrying about my own. About...
Pause. That transitions into the next song. Weird. Skits. They're in the project again. But, yeah. Some of the layers are being peeled back here in that I'm over here talking about being tired, not being able to get sleep, and it's because I'm worried about something. Okay. I mean, we'll find out a little bit more about what the hell's going on in a bit. I also wanted to add, since it's a huge part of who I am, the branding and the marketing and all that, the track list, once again, a lot of intent here, mostly trying to aim for some Final Fantasy stuff, like the fact that there's an Unstoppable 1 and an Unstoppable 2, of course, in the spirit of, Final Fantasy 13-2 and all these other 2s that exist. And also the slashes in there with Paradigm Shift, Revolution, Energy, and Curse /13 or whatever. Yeah. The next song we got up, boy, a hard one to enjoy. Maybe you'll enjoy it because of the sound, but maybe not, honestly. As Your Soul. Go. I'm recording.
Oh, crap. No.
As your souls blue because they don't know where their maker is. Cantankerous, not a sure soul. Wandering in search of a temporary fix. Cause a stationary picks the pretty pen that really works. Not that work's safe, but it really begs the question: what's a session with the pen if all the ink ain't even present? This fantasy is final. Like Jay-Z on the waves.
Say my praise is looking a little tight.
Aware that these haters doubted me. Rapping is just an outlet. See lightning come out and shout it. DAX's flow is hella current. Rebel soul the new deterrent. I'm taking the track, now burn it. I'm doing it with permission, so listen, you got the warrant. Life is but a story in the book of life. Yes, Jesus jots all the saved down for his glory. What it do? Read between the lines, man, the secrets in the times. And the future's looking fine, never take that back. My eyes are soul, don't wanna let it go.
I gotta get closer, hold me closer, like I'm supposed to.
I don't know, I'm riding right now.
Light work, yes, he got plans for me. Future fantasy, now I gotta see, can't stay right on that right road.
And I gotta get closer, hold me closer, like I'm supposed to. Not a loafer, put it.
It's the sample, it's carrying.
Future fantasy, now I got to seek and stay right on that right road. They say that I'm the man. I rock iPods, the future's in your hands. When you're in God's, the future's got the plan. So all of us take a stand. Whatever's coming is grand, and I think I know the cost. No longer slave to sin, broken chains, no more azure. I've been raised again, born again. Yes, it's your servant. Now I'm learning through the bitterness to hold on to my soul's most greatest gift. The giver. My eyes your soul. Don't wanna let it go. Mine has your soul. Don't wanna let it go.
I gotta get closer, hold me closer, like I'm supposed to. Not a loafer, put in slight work. Yes, you got plans for me, beat your fantasy. Now I gotta see, can't stay right on that right road.
And I got
Okay, I don't know how y'all feeling about that, but sonically, sort of a bop. Sonically, sort of a bop. I'll say it one more time. Sonically, sort of, kind of a bop, I think. Again, super hyper diaper carried by the sample. And the fact that Alan G snapped with that drum work. I mean, I think my hook is decent. Sort of decent. Maybe something that I definitely could have nailed today, but didn't hyper diaper nail then. But these verses, if they feel contrived to you, sort of, I mean, they kind of are. Because I was coming from a very specific mindset, a very specific thing I wanted to tackle. As your soul, as your blue, right? A blue soul, a sad soul, is what I'm getting at, rather. And it's because this song sort of tackles a problem I've had with my religion, and it's this debate. I don't know if you guys are privy to this, but there's a debate within Christianity of whether or not, post having accepted Jesus Christ as your Savior, if it's possible for you to lose him as your Savior. It's a huge theological debate of like, no, I mean, if you're saved once, you're always saved. And if anything from there, it's just a constant process of just getting better. Maybe with ebbs and flows. And some other people that say, no, I mean, you can be saved, but the Bible urges you to hold on to that, because you can just be sinful again and lose what was given to you. And honestly, I take a side in that personally I am of the latter. I don't think, like, I mean, long story short, it just, from what I know about the Bible, it doesn't make sense to me that it would be saved, always saved. But in this song, it kind of just reflects my frustrations with that and kind of me working it out in my head. And if you don't get that from this, yeah, I get it. That this song is sort of contrived in that. But whatever. Let's close this out.
get closer, hold me closer, like I'm supposed to. Not a loafer, put in slight work. Yes, you got plans for me. Future fantasy.
Okay, go. Honestly, just using a sample from Final Fantasy 13 here. Next song is Paradigm Shift. What am I here for?
All these questions appeared and barged down the door.
Lightning was going off, bruh. But here we go. I love this song. We got some Final Fantasy bars, and niggas that forgot that I rap fast will remember. Let's get it.
Lightning is back with that paralyzed. When I change the state of mind. Got my 2020 like new paradigm. And the shift is king, and if you don't know, you can know it's fine. It's above control. The wolf of motherfuckers in love with the holy workers. The suckers you never touch it. The suckers phenomenal. DAX, you're the flow god. Boy, there's no god I ever given me glory in my story besides Jehovah. Who's got legs for days that leave me days? That's been Neil. DAX might be past the scene tragically. Killing on a future fantasy. I feel like Riku a lot. At least when looking at her clothes. Some would say I got that heat, and others say my rhymes are cold. Seriously, what is this scarf for? Never mind, let's rock the ensemble. Yeah. Hit that snare, rock that rock, smash that hatch. but not forgetting the time, so hit yellow number 72. Bringing the change, boy, this is never a race. Paradigm shifting the place, up in your face, feel like crushed up at the blade. Just shadow the best, but get on my level. You people like my chasing up for the castle. Hill it already rocking, the preachers already spotted. Just get started, just give me the mic, the beat got it.
Okay, let's go over this verse, cause the nigga was going in. To the best of my ability, man. I mean, the performance I think is peak for that DAX of that year, and I would love to have nailed this today, but I mean, whatever. I'm not really interested in making this song nowadays. But man, how fun! I love that. I found a reason to showcase speed on an album as opposed to being on a cipher like, hey yo, lyrical, spiritual, blah, 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 blah. And there's some thematic stuff here. Going into the verse, well, you know, the hook talking about if you don't believe, gotta test the lie. But if you have seen, better testify. But if you don't see what I see, you better check your eyes. So if you don't believe, shift the paradigm. Paradigm shift is the term. It's a game mechanic from Final Fantasy 13. They don't stop, okay? Lightning is back with that paralyzed when I change the station. Got my 20/20, like 2 pairs of dimes. So 20 and 20. The shift is key, shift key. And if you don't know, you'll always find it's above control. Shift is above the control key, nigga. I'm spitting right now, okay? Keyboard talk. Let's see. Who's got legs for days that leave me dazed? That's Vanille, character from Final Fantasy 13. I feel like Riku a lot. And I say exactly why, but Riku from Final Fantasy is this shorty right here. And something I get into is that I feel like her. Why is that? Because some people say that my rhymes are hot, or some, what is it? Some people say that I got that heat, and others say my rhymes are cold. Literally not that much of a flip, besides the fact that what I'm saying is that shorty has a scarf on, yet is in like bikini attire. And that's something that I point out immediately in case it's like a you don't get it. With the next line, seriously, what is that scarf for? Never mind, plus you rock the ensemble. So yeah, it's just that I got the heat and I'm cold. Nothing much more than that. This one is a good reference that I like because it's more personal or community based. I feel like Cloud Strife with the blade. That's shout out to Peso. And for those that know, yeah, you see me, I'm out here with the bars. Thank you, Lay. Thank you, Lay. Thanks, Alex. But the Cloud Strife thing is a ref to the fact that Peso Pete, known cohort, known Bummunity Bum, Bummunity Bibbas, he used that line on his song Ryuko Matoi, ironically, which even more ironically is wrapped over a goddamn Kirby beat. Whatever, you know. That's Peso for you. But one of his lines was, I feel like Cloud Strife with the blaze, Cloud Strife, like, it's just like a weird thing. So I was referencing that. And it made sense on this song because it's about Final Fantasy. So, whatever. This is all to say, I was going, but I was saying something, a little bit of something, okay? So, get off my case, niggas.
Ooh, baby.
These cutscenes from Final Fantasy 13? Come on, hold up. This is attention to detail here.
Let's go! Try to get rid of you, end of the city, what will you fight for? Faded delirium, ripping every video that was took, leaving you to shook. You don't like the crew, well, tell us why. It's more than a crisis core, for a dicey war, we will need a paradigm. Need me a wild bang, the super shout out to Fang. The stems leave a boy like that. Lock cold, my sass the dagger, never been a thief, never stealing swagger. 100 to the last roll, others to the casket, all behind your staff, to listen forever after. Hope today, riding slow, seize the day by Chocobo. Hope we meet, right on time, Tifa, Lockhart, you have mine. Dinosaurs makes us unstoppable, it's so ironic, Crystal Chronicle, just how I got the flow, you know you want it though. Battle within it begins, always prepared to shift, put in work and everything like like WT. 40, 40, 40, 40. With the leading home in Marie. On the chain like Prometheus, nobody's taming you. Said it before, guess we're needing a shift. Tearing the fabric of time into put little lines fitting into dimensional ribs.
Oh my god, this instrumental is so hot. Okay. I'm gonna try to be quicker with this second analysis here, but boom, all the Final Fantasy stuff. We got Warrior of Light, Revenant Wings. I'll try to get rid of you. End the Dissidia, right? What will you fight for? That's me, because Dissidia fight. If you know, you know. Okay. Leaving Yuna shook. Just a shout out to Yuna there. The price is more than a crisis core. Come on now, right? Super shout out to Fang for Final Fantasy 13. Lock Cole, if you know the character, wielding that assassin's dagger. Niggas know. Never been a thief. I mean, there's some roles here being mentioned. And I love this line. This is not even Final Fantasy related, but I'm gonna keep it 100 till the last rose falls into the casket, which is, to the death of me, nigga. Seize the Day by Chocobo. Tifa Lockhart, you have mine. Sort of a stretch here, but what I'm saying is that she has my heart. This Dawn of Souls, Crystal Chronicle, okay. Off the chain like Promethea, okay, y'all keeping up. Yeah, let's close it out.
This is probably where I should tap out, right?
I'll let you decide.
And I'll admit, that kind of woke me up.
Yeah, but should we really be playing around?
Can you say that again? Never mind. I'll rest my eyes for just a little bit, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Just keep on smiling.
Okay, so it seems like there's a continued attempt and effort to fall the hell asleep. But I'm a little shaken up by that last energetic ass song. Sonically, a little bit of a quality review. I love that. That was so much fun to make. I'll say I was guided by the drum work mostly. Or like if if the snare was going boop 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 boop, like I'm doing that in my flow. Mary had a little. I don't even know why I went to that, but yeah, that's mostly what guided the flow on that song. Which is something that I was beginning to understand by this time in my life. Not something that I nailed on this project, but which, we know. Next song, I'm not gonna cap. It's practically a worship song. It's called Yours, and it's the interlude.
In your hands, I'll stay.
Whoa! Why did it start like that? It's practically a worship song. Yeah, Yours.
Trusted in your hands, I'll stay. I am yours throughout the day. Lock the doors up in my heart and then just throw the keys away. Chill, relaxing by the bay. Watch the ripples move and sway. See myself in the reflection as lightning just calmly lays. Still up on Imago Day. In your image I was made. I am yours and you are mine. God with you, I am not afraid. To those who threaten me with blades, Lord of hosts is the one who aids. Bodyguards do not compare. He plays no games, no arcades. I am yours, and I'm so glad to say it. My debts are denied that, but your grace is gladly paid it. Oh, I never would have made it, I would have lost it all. But thanks so Lord for sacrifice, cause even when I drop the ball, you stay there for me, never feel lonely. I swear you're my greatest friend.
Bad singing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Your loving has no end. To be with you forever is my greatest fantasy. I'm glad you made it happen, I'm so glad I get to be called yours. Oh, yours. Never wanna be anything in this world but yours. Oh, yours. Never wanna be everything that you see me. I know it's you, and I'm sure it's true. That you made me, and my heart will say, if I'm anything, I'm
That beat's sick. Love that. And the verse is very competent, I think. Both in really saying what I wanted to say about my sort of surrender to God, which I know to y'all might not be super important, but maybe looking into my vulnerability in terms of faith might be of interest. But that being said, even just in terms of performance, like, it's not that bad. It's a decent verse. The hook, or the chorus, the climax of the song, not great, mostly held back by the singing. And honestly, it's good for some bits, but there's some parts where the mixing, as you might have seen me wince, just it was not the right decision, and I didn't nail it. But yeah, it is what it is. It's a short song.
Look at the time. Things get pretty interesting right now.
Oh, and warning, the next song is about to be worse. I'm so sorry, guys. Like I said, the biggest delta in quality. This project and the next. Bear with me. There's a payoff.
I don't really get nightmares. Just got this mind of mine in my room, and all the shadows in it. You see, when I was a kid, I didn't really have nightmares either, but all I needed was a towel in the corner hanging on a chair or something to convince me that they were indeed ghosts, monsters. It really makes me wonder how much of my fear that's governing me is just because I'm telling myself there's something in the room.
That's right.
The things I wish I could do, the things I go out to dream, just governed by this mind. If I could get rid of it. Of course not, but it's like times like these, it gets me wondering. Maybe the things I tell myself, the things I think, need to change.
Okay, next song is called Revolution Energy. Revolution/Energy. This is a tough one. There's something redeemable about it, but it does not save this song. I'm just gonna be honest. It's a great regret, but boy, did I think I was snapping. Let's get it.
Already, all steady, settings to go. Got my limits broken, we keep on hoping, we never fold. Flipping through meds like a woman's salon. Bullets we packing, we image a dome. Coming through, stabbing, revolving myself, and just watching the panic for revolution. Don't get dizzy when 80-degree turns. Let's get busy when 80-degree burns. Place the track on the stove, got my skill in the oven. Now they think I'm super bad, like my first name was McLovin.
Kill me.
Turn of events who serve for the threats. Burn till it's that, earn disrespect. Let me tell you, scream at all caps, beat a bomb blast. We're busy doing a cross pass with my cross slash. Bust for me, busted sword, plus I busted for the Lord. I ain't fighting flesh and gore. David Booming wants some more, that's for sure. I got enemies, got a lot of enemies. But sometimes I don't got any, cause I got so many frenemies. Start a revolution, homie, hip hop is back. Many call it dead, but only God on the track. Straight up, oppression medicine. Hope will now begin. Powers in our friends. Watch my RPM like that.
And if that was bad, it gets worse. My man's. Let's get it.
If Jesus died for my life, then the sin be the curse, that's why I'm shining that light. And what people don't understand is a toll on life. Jesus took a beating for you to live in Christ. So when Jesus comes back, don't act like you be surprised. You've been informed that your life could be put in jeopardy. When judgment day come, are you ready for eternity? Well, probably not, because when sin come and make your spirit rise.
Let it be known that this is another instance of, like, nigga, we're not on the same wavelength right now. How did I let this happen? Ugh.
Oh, so you think you live in fly? Impressed with the early treasures, but what happens when you die, huh? You probably don't have a clue. You just following in the lies that sound appealing to you, homie, that's being foolish. You gotta stand tall and spread the truth like Cool Whip instead of parking Cool Whips, yeah.
Homie, I promise these simple ways really ain't impressing me.
Cause I praise the Most High, and that's where my blessings be. Whoa, so denying the truth is just killing you spiritually. So I deny sin, cause homie, hell is eternity. Whoa, so denying the truth is just killing you spiritually. So I deny sin, cause homie, hell is eternity. Hell is eternity. me, hell is eternity.
Oh my god, this next half. Oh no. Do you hear it? I got a lot of enemies. What do you think this half means?
Lakewood means rewind, the gunshot means forward. You requested it, so we rewind.
Yeah, I did this. Let's read a log here.
Turn this mug way up, way up.
Shut up, David. Oh my. Here we go.
I got enemies, got a lot of enemies, got a lot of people trying to drain me of this energy. They trying to take the way from a hitter. Never said I did, I'm praying for you, hitter. That's why DAX up in it, tell a homie bring it back. Need another minute just to figure where I'm at. I'm the Dave Explorer, and my decorum's on the forum saying just some way to heaven, and my head has got the map. There's nothing better. Serves like Mary Mag, but she looks like Kylie Jenner. Brought my duffel bag filled with tracks, yet I'm a sinner. So relax, cause my passion like a soul when I put Christ at the center. I got people that be hating, that's the stupid for me. You be stressing about the message, man, I'll do it for free. I ain't PDF for nothing, it's so true you will see. I'm that EV, forever 7-2. I got my hood sweater, energy, I'm max. Fist in the sky, alright. Blood would start running, bro, from who you decide. I'm that two-time record holding pro, giving speeches at the show, screaming next to Justin Bieber, revolution, that's for sure. I got enemies, got a lot of enemies, got a lot of people trying to drain me of this energy. They trying to take the way
Oh my god.
from a hitter. Never said I did, I'm praying for you, hitter. Yeah, I said I'm praying for you, hitter. No, no, no. I'm praying for you, hitter. No.
Okay. Yeah. That sonically, all about that is just not worth it. It's a damn near 5-minute song, and it's an exercise. It's exhausting. That second half isn't even worth it. I don't even know why I went for that. Why I really felt like I needed to. Only notable thing, look, I mentioned I'm that AVR Forever. AVR Forever is an album that will be coming up later on in the week, in this review week. But yeah, just not many positives on this song. Really speaks to my issue with this project. Next up, we got Brotherhood. Honestly, it's another sort of biblical song, like literally features a nigga called Pop Bibles. I don't think the song's that bad, though. It's one of the songs I released as a quote-unquote single, meaning that it actually sort of was released back in the day, meaning 2013, around the time that it was intended to come out. I sort of remade it, retooled it in 2016, around the time of the actual album's release. But yeah, let's get it. Hopefully you enjoy as much as I can.
DJ DAX, Pop Bibles.
Also, let it be known, maybe I sound more distressed now than I did in the literally more inherently terrible Begin the Legend, but that's because at this point, the stakes are real, right? Begin the Legend, I know that I was terrible. I mean, I was a goddamn infant, and not just because of my age, but literally like an infant to this craft. But now at this point, you know, it's 2016, I had already sort of proven myself with my previous effort. That's something I say on the first song on this project. Like, my last mixtape went so well. But by now, it's like, this is the epitome of, like, a good idea, quote-unquote, maybe, possibly. But, like, literally just none of the good execution. Or very seldom good execution throughout it. So it hurts more a little. Because I know in my head that I could have. I just didn't land on the answer, you know?
The brotherhood. The church is the body, not the building. Let's not get it confused. Hey yo,
Two heads are better than one, and two heads make a church. Turn their head into one. We live with divine mystery in the presence, and it's evident that brothers will build you up through the negligence. Okay. The evidence is here. Can't do it on your own. Try to kick it. I bet that you gon' lose without a goal. Yes. That's why I kill flesh and grew with my brothers.
Love this sample. FF13.
When the man falls, we there to pick him up. And with the Lord's grace, we there to lift him up. The same goes for all. Lil Pookie and Jamal. First you gotta crawl, then you gotta walk.
Let's get it.
Church is through us, and not the four walls. No limited atonement, he died for us all. That's a telltale, I mean a tall tale. We here to save Molly, not put her on the wrong scale.
Sometimes you find ourselves elevated into another echelon, another realm of success. Yet we leave our friends and family behind. In midst of our brotherhood, we've forgotten our brothers in the hood. Amen.
That sounds like okay. I could not hold back. But this excerpt is supposed to be like me, damn near me preaching, right? Or at least that's how it should come off. It's not really like, please imagine that. But that line just now sounds like the stereotypical, conscious woke, what is even the word? Like, I'm thinking Umar Johnson. I'm thinking, the black Hebrew Israelite situation. Just Afrocentrism. I guess there's the word and the term is out there, but I'm not even really trying to speak ill on that. I'm just saying, like, the meme on Twitter of like, bruh, of just doing a simple flip that's like cheesy and dumb. And honestly, although I can't rack my head enough for an example of this, like, this is an example, because I said, in the midst of our brotherhood, we've forgotten our brothers in the hood. Amen. Which is just like, I mean, the truth is there, in that, like, niggas are in church, but they forget those that aren't in church. Almost as if, like, the church is a museum as opposed to a hospital, which it's supposed to be. But that flip, I mean, it's hard. It's hard. This is hard. I'm sorry.
Light of Christ, set free our neighbor from the trap, from the oppressions, from all the vices in our environment, showing them all things can be done through Jesus Christ, our Savior.
I'm up.
Man, I never knew my brothers would support me in this way. We stay overcoming obstacles, maturing in the faith. Ride or die until the day. Deal with life because we're safe. Because Lazarus was living even when inside the grave. Preach it, brother. I'm just saying. We must believe we'll see the Savior he came. God's in control and runs the system, he ain't playing. Get on my level, got his wisdom in my brain. So DAX is killing the game for the family. Cause we're all related through the blood. And one time for rise decay, that's my brother showing love. Watch it rain down from above, dirt is turning into mud. Cause the ark was really Jesus who would rise above the flood. So I'm above the influence, with my brothers through the strife. More than conquerors in Christ, all those scars come through his stripes. Rolling with us like we dice, chop the beat up, cut and slice. Pay the price, he went down in hell, retrieve the keys of life.
We have to understand, brotherhood does not exclude our sisters in Christ. We're all one body, the body, the church as the Bible puts it. There should be no discrimination or hate amongst brothers, amongst believers. Only honest and genuine love, because the church isn't the building. It's the brothers in arms through the blood of the
Last verse.
It's time for the family to stand.
We fight.
Until he blow the trumpets, his word must travel. Planet Earth circumference, we are called this body. Let's set aside the nonsense, cause I'm content with being the head under his armpits. But bro, do you remember? No matter how shameful I am a member. I know you hear the word, although it's lacking a tenor. Don't confuse this Christian rap with that rap of a sinner. We together in these trenches, and if we all born, I bet we be an interest. But please don't like to mention I'm not sacrificing truth, I'm just killing all distinction. And our Lord prayed for us. He prayed we will be one. Never sacrifice the truth, nah. But let his will be done.
Alright, the song, it was what it was. Hard ass beat, shout out Rising K, love that sample. There's another sample here, it's important. This section is sort of important, I'll tell you why. Sort of.
fighting for each other. Today we seize the line, and we'll suppress the horrors. The peace will always find. To our fallen brothers, to those we leave behind, we'll keep on pressing forward. We'll meet another time. Yeah. Fighting for each other, today we seize the line, and we'll suppress the horrors. The peace will always find. To our fallen brothers, to those we leave behind, we'll keep on pressing forward. We'll meet another time. Fighting for each other, today we seize the line.
2016.
Yes, that was a neat touch, Dax. I love that you did that. Actually, I totally forgot that you did that. Okay, why is this important? And I'll touch on why that was even a neat touch in a second. This bridge here was added after the fact. The song back in 2013 was everything you heard before that part. But in 2016, when I revisited it and like mixed it better and this and that, and like redid my verse and whatnot, Risey K, who produced this, had already done a sequel to the beat that was the first half. And I was like, oh, it'd be cool if I included this as a sort of flip or something in the second half of the song, which I did, and didn't really take advantage in the sense of like rapping some more. But I realized something, that there was an opportunity here to sort of show respect. And the reason why is because when the first beat was uploaded, something that Risey put in the description was that he did it and he named it Brotherhood, despite it being, you know, from Final Fantasy 13, Lightning, protagonist, female, all that, because it made him, he did it in like memory of a friend of his that had passed away, actually. And like that was, I mean, he grieved through his production, you know, and wanted to honor him through that. And then, dude, years later, he made a sequel. And it was just, I mean, it's nothing more than him saying, like, nigga, I still miss you, bro. Right? Here I am again. With another beat. In honor of, you know, his mans. So, that's such a passing thing. But given that the song, I try to embody brotherhood through, you know, the church sense. And also, you know, inject a little bit of like, yeah, no, I mean, I have brothers, figuratively in more ways than just the religious. I try to tackle that at the end when I said, I mean, this can be read with that context in mind now. Fighting for each other, today we siege the line, and we'll suppress the horrors. The peace we'll always find. To our fallen brothers, to those we leave behind, we'll keep on pressing forward. We'll meet another time. Which is just me really taking in that anecdote that was left by Risey, and that, like, yeah, I mean, it's a sad thing. You know, he was going through a thing. But ultimately, what it means to be brothers is to stick together even post that. You know, we keep you in our memories, and we're going to keep this ball rolling for y'all. So, yeah. Things get a little darker, I guess. The next song is called Curse 13. Final Fantasy 13 is the game that this project is sort of based on. And you'll see that 13 is important for more reasons than one. And of course, Curse 13, unlucky number. Let's get into it. Let's see why. I didn't click play.
Woo! I'm feeling defeated, losing my course. One thing that I needed, my guardian force. We're all under Ragnarok. I fear from Renoa. Future ultra messy, getting the best of you. I need to show up. What's real, what's fantasy? Destined to lose it all without humanity. Losing my sanity. People say fate is.
Yeah, this beat sucks.
Now I ask, can it be? Vanity so. Fight for the future despite that I'm scared. Curse to my death anytime, anywhere. This effort is getting Monona aware. Curse, I'll never win. There's no escaping a sin and no starting again. I'm living without a friend. This is the end of the trend. Stop me before I go off. 13, I guess the unluckiness in a sense has always tried to murk me. Dax is cursing, now it seems that things will never go his way. I've been living in the dark without
Ew. I did not nail that.
There's no such thing. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna pause real quick because this song is a breeze, sort of, even though it's kind of long. Again, Jesus Christ. Hella Final Fantasy stuff here. Guardian Force, Ragnarok, Renoa, feature Ultimecia, right? Passing reference to fantasy. This effort is getting Monono aware, and oh my god. So I believe it's Final Fantasy 8 that this is sort of riffing off of. Let me bad. Yes, Final Fantasy 8. A big thing about this game is sort of like predestination and like fighting your fate. Which honestly, I mean, how many RPGs and JRPGs aren't, about that fucking goddamn concept? But Monono aware. Let's get into it. That idea is like so central to Final Fantasy VIII. If you've played, you know, and that's why I had to like, I tossed it in there because I felt like I really wanted to, like, even though this album is about 13, this song has a lot of references to 8, and I really wanted to be like, yo, and that theme is central to kind of what I'm talking about a little bit here. I don't know where obviously is not a word in English, and I'm just saying that because I can't speak Japanese. But if you look it up and you look into Final Fantasy VIII as a game and its themes, you might see what I was getting at there. But yeah, there was a little bit of a transition here. This song is kind of dark. That's the curse side. Let's see how it transitions into the 13 side.
Man up, show 'em all who's king of the passion. Microphone proving that there's no such thing. Yeah.
I'm gonna explain some stuff in this verse.
Man, I started this project about 3 years ago. Senior year with the fear of not passing at all. Class of 13, man, it seems so unlucky, but funny. Regardless, God was up to something. 3 years before that, DAX found rap. Fell in love with the culture, and never take that back. Preach since 7, piano since 10, sang since then. But now I need a pad and a pen. Doing it with the spiritual, minute in every lyric. I'm in it to win it, been independent from where ahead. I'm taking the heat, been framed as a lame for deceit. Complaints about the danger I seek, yeah, but hey, though, mate, I take these 808s. So listen to see.
I snapped a little bit there with the flow. I'm sorry, okay? That just sorry. I'll keep it going.
Bringing it back to my last year. All of my issues feeling like fate. But something I learned in my last year, the future belongs not to those who wait. So I shift this paradigm, Lord. Can I get a witness? Both eyes, vision, John 11:40. Man, I hope you're listening. It's a hard like death. That's why I hit this arch like Steph. Guardian, using all my breath to decrease dead bugs and increase head nods. Using all my will, cause the snake's not set. 13, 13. I was in class of 13. Guess the unluckiness, in a sense, has always tried to murder me. 13. Running out of luck. Praying to my God that a 7 be enough. 13. Running out of luck.
The hook is almost there, but it's not quite. I know. Bad verse incoming.
Woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Boy, that's just in your head. The enemy's trying to play some tricks. Yeah, you're just mental sick. Yeah, I know life's gonna suck, but don't blame it on bad luck. Best believe that cause I'm blessed. My God takes care of the rest. Yeah, my God takes care of me. Believing in him, that's the key. Don't got time for these superstitions and focus on the higher mission. Yeah, I'm rolling.
With the 70-second reverend. Yeah.
Sipping on Slurpee, 7-Eleven.
Okay.
God's glory is all I see. Yeah, heaven, my Final Fantasy.
13.
Horrible verse. I know. No shame.
7 be enough. 13. Running out of luck. Praying to my God.
Song's almost over.
This fight is getting rough. I've made my guess, bad luck's not bad at all. Inside my chest, I know I got it all. I find my rest mid-air when I'm at fall. 13.2 returns lay on my call. 13, I'm always hurting. Yes, I'm searching. 13, never stop learning. Of this, I'm certain. 13, I'm always hurting.
Oh my god, I love that. This song sort of sucks, but I love that.
Running out of luck. Praying to my God, cause this fight is getting rough. On 13, I'm always hurt. Running out of luck. Praying to my God that a 7 be enough. On 13, I'm always hurt. Running out of luck. Praying to my God, cause this fight is
Okay, pause, because it's gonna be a little short skit in a bit. But man, yes. To cover the verse 2 and the bridge, you know, I started this project 3 years ago. This is being said in 2016. 2013 is when I started. Senior year, my 2013. The fear of never passing at all. And it seemed so unlucky because I'm class of 13. And, you know, things weren't lining up. I spoke about how 3 years before that, I found rap. 3 years before 2013, I was 14, which is the year that I started rapping. I was preaching since I was 7. Is the idea. I was playing piano since I was 10. Yeah, like I was just speaking about where I was in life in terms of different key moments or whatever. But what I'm harping on here is that 2013 was sort of a sign of things to come, and that like I felt cursed. I legitimately felt like there was air of bad luck over me. And this bridge is sort of spiritual, as horrible as it sort of sounds. And I mean, I can tolerate it because it's my goddamn music. But it's sort of spiritual to me because I'm just kind of conceding. I'm like coming to terms with how life isn't, like, I think it's out to get me, but also it's like, I don't care. Like, I don't deserve anything really. Like, I'm not owed anything. So I said, I've made my guess. Bad luck's not bad at all. Inside my chest, I know I got it all. I find my rest midair where I may fall, when I may fall. 13 part 2 returns. They are my call. That sort of sounds abstract, but that's because, you know, Final Fantasy 13, it has a sequel, 13 part 2. There's another sequel to that. There's 13 Lightning Returns. So that's me referencing that. But then, you know, the musical crux of this, 13, I'm always hurting. Yes, I'm searching. 13, never stop learning. Of this I'm certain. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. Yeah.
Oh, tell me. How do I know what's true and what's false?
The world's full of lies. There's no way of knowing what's right. All we can do is believe in ourselves.
You think?
It's easy to sit back and let people trick you.
Right.
I'm done with their lies. From here on out, I use my eyes.
Same.
Think. Act.
Eyes on the future, kid. I feel you.
Great! Next song, Unstoppable 2!
Can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. Doesn't matter what you say, doesn't matter what you do, you better know the truth. Can't stop me now.
Yeah?
Can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. Trojan virus flow like Miley Cyrus.
What?
Ain't no stopping, I'm so a little cynical, but still I'm good to go. So unstoppable, still I'm good to go. Yeah, I'm on the road. And you already know. When I say I'm a winner, I just laugh and say for sure. Yeah, actions feeling hella rad. Super evolution just a tad. Put some pretty people on my pad. And my homies in here trying to die.
Okay.
Do it to it for the grind.
Alright.
Shorty only watch me on a snap. Double F is playing to the max. So the fellas hear it in the back. Say it like y'all ain't stating the fact. There ain't no apple, you're just trying to mag. Pass up a shotgun, come me gala hat. Most of the hoes are your hitters are whack. I'm on my drink and it's so back to back. And I just hit the workout, so right back to back. Just hit the gym and it's go flip you back. This one's worth the wait, I'm unstoppable DAX.
Okay, this really dates me here, because I do not go to the gym anymore. Sorry, ladies and fellas, although I'm not available in that sense. But I was at the time. But that's funny that I was feeling myself. I'm like, dude, I'm on my drink, feeling so back to back, and I just hit these workouts all right back to back. Dig it. Hey, former me with slightly bigger arms says, that's what's up, David. That's what's up. In 2020, we not quite there, but you know, you looking all right, man. All right.
On me. Reaching for the top. Only music drops. Gravity owes me. Only. 3
years later, fam, when they see the dude say it's the man, push the data means missing is the band. When it comes to life, I'm like Metro Boomin, living for the future. You know how we do it for the nick of time. Call it Patrick Ewing for the final time. What you think, I'm stupid? Pull it on like a lawn sleeve, going off like LeBron's 3. Songs are filled within timelines, just Steins gets what I'm watching. Let me tell you, I recommend the show. It's great. I know what you're thinking though.
Yeah, but you branded this project after Final Fantasy 13. Catch us to your payment, bro.
I get it. Yeah. But you see, in a meta sense, I relate my life to that game. Well, I mean, for one, the unlucky number is 13. I was class of 13. If you haven't noticed, it's very simple. It's from Final Fantasy 13. I can't bear it. Yes, I need my 7. You can call me Barrett. Tell my parents that I need a cleric. Boy, I need some healing. That's for real. 3 years since I started, and a lot has happened since. Drafted Future Fantasy when I was lacking happiness. Even now, some problems that I had back then can still persist.
Love the second half.
Failure every time I try to reminisce. Scholastically down in this hot water, I drown, but Lord, give me the patience. You know what it's like to lose all your friends after graduation. Can't consider me doing things that many see to be sinful. So many ways of winning and many others I begin to. Life spinning like a corridor, the just to many afflictions. Free of them all, we're living life for the Lord. Calling it just how I see it. Many nights wide awake, I be daydreaming, feeling a beast. I'm entertaining, be at the top and you better believe in material feelings. So baby, I mean it.
Look at this instrumental.
Give all my shots, we the Taliban. Get a great desire to complete my dreams. And I got my team, we the avalanche. No, it's part, it's newly born, it's my return. I'm taking over this industry, meeting adjourned.
Listen up right here.
How does mankind defy its fate?
Tagline.
But the question is, why shouldn't they? Futures on time, never love too late. Unstoppable, on part you skate. I'll best rock when I fight myself to rock. To win with just every new rhyme, never for money or fame. But believe me, I know it'll come in due time. I struggle with projects, I can't get them out. Many in my mind have even lost comfort, they're all on the way. Maybe a trouble in paradise, even some I cannot say.
Rest of lyrics on Genius, link at the top of the description. I couldn't fill them all in that doc. Let's go find the lyrics because they're here. Let's see. Even though some more gonna say. Actually, let's pause because there's some stuff to go through here. Man, so this song is obviously a look up since Curse and 13 and all those dark songs before, and also just the terribleness of those songs before. But first half, super yo, cool, whatever, right? I even do that in some of the flows. I relax. I kind of talk about more of anything in the first half there. Let's see if there's anything notable to go through. Whenever I say double F, I'm talking about Future Fantasy. Duh. Galahad, Final Fantasy reference. Yeah, cool. And then the second half, we really use the same sample that was used in Unstoppable 1. So that's, speaks to why this is Unstoppable 2. And I really get into it some more, like the stuff that I've explained to you guys. The unlucky number is 13. I was class of 13. If you haven't noticed, this very sample is from Final Fantasy 13. The connection here, and this is something that I was alluding to at the beginning, is that Final Fantasy 13 is widely regarded as one of the few or stellar, kind of like notable disappointments in the Final Fantasy series, in the Final Fantasy franchise overall, right? It's one of those games that nobody really, or not many people love. Like, it's not like a widely regarded as like a loved project or whatever. No, not the case at all. In fact, there's a lot of criticisms of the game. Even though there were certain good things about it, people were very critical of that game. So I tie that into my experience because, I was supposed to be class of 13. Final Fantasy 13 is what I tied, into this project, Future Fantasy, Team Future, Final Fantasy. And all in all, I'm speaking to the unluckiness, to the negativity found in both. My life, that's kind of scholastic doom, and Final Fantasy 13 and its, critical reception. And I even go on to say, I can't bear it. Yes, I need my 7. You can call me Barrett and whatever. But the reference there is that Final Fantasy 7, a game that features Barrett, a character in that, is widely regarded as like the best Final Fantasy game. And also 7, needing my 7, that's speaking to needing my luck, like needing that positivity that I was missing. Because I was that down, right? As I say, I drafted Future Fantasy when I was lacking happiness. And, you know, I test to a lot more stuff. I mean, you know, I mentioned Barrett. I say life's feeling like a corridor. For those that play Final Fantasy 13, you know that one of the gameplay gripes was that everything was a goddamn corridor. It was just mad hallways. And the game wasn't as open as people made it out to seem. Red 13, a character. Materia, like a concept within the games. It said, I got my team, we the Avalanche. You know, the Avalanche is a group within Final Fantasy 13. Sorry, 7. All bets are off when I fight my Sephiroth. There's many there. I said, I struggle with projects. I can't get them out. Many in my mind, I might have even lost count. But they're all on the way. AVR, Trouble in Paradise. Even some I cannot say. Sort of cap because Trouble in Paradise got axed. But AVR, later on in the review week. Let's get it. Second half of the lyrics. They're on this end over here. Boom.
Desire to be at the top and reach my dreams. Passion to share my talents, keep in balance and build a team. Share with Alexander, then now everyone about my craft. If one thing's never constant, praising God, I will always last. I get just what I'm saying. I can't complain. Zero stops for zero, cause the hero on my side remains. Ain't nothing I can't do, so tell it to all your darlings. That said, there's nothing he can't do. Through Christ, he can do all things. Eyes on the future, might open the one. Not seen it complete, boy, I see it is done. Believe it, so there's no O2 in my lungs. I'm not where I should be, and not where I'm from. Forward to the goal.
We're almost done, guys.
Life had its blunder, life had its bliss, but I keep on spinning that crimson bliss. Human behind the moniker, take Iggy, real name is Amethyst. D-A-B-I-D, hope has never been I-B in vain. I mean, the only thing that could ever, would ever, will never stop me is me.
Woohoo! Wahoo! I sound like Mario, yeah. Yo, what a climax. Who am I, right? With all these meanings and these terrible ass songs. I know. I mean, I was trying, man. Like, there was in this time, you know, the trade-off is not as crazy as it was in Begin the Legend, where it was maybe mad potential, but definitely no execution. Here, there's a little bit of some execution. You get some of that from time to time. It's a little inconsistent, but it's getting more consistent. But the potential is seeming promising. And then I'm speaking with rose-tinted goggles on, but yeah, I mean, I hear ya. There's not a lot to break down here. There's some passing references, notably, life had its blunder, life had its bliss. Ties into the bliss plus blunder thing. Niggas don't know. Niggas didn't know. But whatever. Last line, the only thing that could ever, would ever, will never stop me is me. Because, again, I'm unstoppable. That was the second track. Guys, now we're in the final track before the bonus track. It's called Struck. I hope you enjoy. This one's sonically pleasing, I think. Let's get into it. Oh, yeah. That's Struck right there. Sit back, enjoy, relax. It's a lounge. Woo!
Despite the tribulations, I know that my life is beautiful. From birthday celebrations down to sentimental funerals. Back to the task, I'm packing her bags, tracking her past. Falling, attacking, we're rapping the facts. And glory we bask as lightning attacks. You can call it blitzkrieg. I start with the hacks so I can code it his way. Hope is not a mistake. Stacks of the packs on the racks of the trash of relax. Will always strip the lies, don't care if it's risque. Man, lightning makes me blush while I kick with a caps. Every time she crosses her legs with the blade on her lap. Top, don't flip it up like a laptop. Cause the last SWAT had a bad shot. Like a mascot, I love her with her pink hair. Doesn't sport tracks, making sense of what just doesn't. Life is such a Rorschach. She got pale, smooth skin to match her white iPad. She's always right, my bad. Pray to the Lord Triad. Man, David Gonzalez must sell tamales to fill up his wallet to get to college and fill it with knowledge and dollars. Lightning's popping her collars, looking fresh and nice. Starstruck 2 times, lightning really does strike twice. She's my future fantasy in a canopy with a canopy. Talk philanthropy with the panoply of retro rhapsodies. No bohemian rhapsodies.
I'm not even pausing.
DAX cities, these things they suck. Somewhat rackety, somewhat racket, somewhat ratchet.
Let's go.
Baby, I'm struck. Bad luck.
Let's go, let's go.
What I need is us. Too much?
I'm way too old to say I've got a crush.
But I'm more than curious, this is more than lust. I play the fifth like Wayne and serve heat on a tray. I'll get famous off this tape, but you don't need a beacon KS. Baby, let me tell you when I tell you that I never hurt you. You just get me outie like them circles if I try. But you know I'd never try. Girl, you make a boy alive when he hears you say you're mine. I come up with the spot, show me what I got. You love it, I wanna spend no kidding, and I go bro. She got that thing, let me stop. I'm a fiend for hip-hop, so you lean with it, rock. You're the cream of the crop, you're the queen. Let me tell you, you're a dream that keeps me awake. Oh, this ain't a mistake. From get-go, my MO is seeing the great view from cocoon. Not to be called collectively. I don't see a thing wrong with this girl. This offer's correcting me, girl. I need you right next to me. No, lightning, this is my destiny. No. Baby, you strike me crazy, you strike me crazy down. Baby, you strike me crazy, who's gonna save me down? I know.
Let's go. Go. Oh, what a good ass instrumental. Oh my god. Can you tell I'm proud of that song? Probably as old as it is, right? Man. Okay. So there's another thing peeled back here. Right? And this one is sort of less Final Fantasy lore and more me explaining Future Fantasy, the album's role in this trilogy that we're getting into today, or that we're closing today, right? It started with Bliss plus Blunder. It's continuing with Future Fantasy. And what I'm explaining here is something. In Bliss plus Blunder, I mentioned to you guys last night that I started adopting a sort of feminist angle. And that a lot of my songs on that project, I tried to set it up from the perspective of a woman, right? Just in general, because it's about damn time. But not even just that, but it was something that was creatively satisfying to me. But then with this one, the woman in question is Lightning, okay? Because it's Final Fantasy 13, she's the protagonist, and this song is called Struck, Lightning Strikes, yeah, we get it. But also I'm love struck for the shawty, but she's the woman in question on this one, right? As opposed to the whoever I had in mind for the feminist joint, which was more of an amorphous woman, who's just like trying to figure out life. But in this one, I actually characterize her, as somebody that I'm in love with, that I'm trying to get with. Lightning strike twice, you get it. But I mention, you're a dream that keeps me awake. Which is, sure, lovely. Go ahead and use that jump on the next, the next Valentine's Day card that you give out. That one's free. That one's on the house, okay, from the poet himself. But it's not just that. Also, welcome, Camo. You're now on the show. You better know what to do. But it's not just that. I'm attesting to the fact that in this album, I've been trying to get some sleep. And she's the dream that keeps me awake. She's the dream. I'm not going to spell it out for you. But remember, the name of this trilogy is the Pillow Trilogy. Something's going on. Okay? Something's weird. Something's happening. But that being said, all in all, this is a cute-ass love song. This shit bops. It's smooth. I'm very proud of it. Sonically, I think it's pretty good. It's pretty consistent. I love how laid back and loungy the first half is. The second half is so bouncy. It actually, I think, was inspired by Logic. I think Logic can be at times a very derivative artist, the rapper, if you don't know who I'm talking about here. But something that I actually think is a style that he should have honed in on some more, because I think it's sort of unique and that he actually put on the forefront, is that he has a love for like stutters and like vocal chopping that a lot of other rappers don't really do. And I kind of explored that on the second half of Struck, where I did like yeah, like that sort of stuff. That's something that I kind of was inspired by Logic to do.
Yeah, dollar bill, yo.
That's right. I don't even know how to respond to this text I just got. But yeah. Struck was that. God, I'm so proud of that song. We got one more. This one's Limit Break. It's a big ass meme. For those of y'all that know, it's the bonus track to this album. Limit Break, of course, the concept from Final Fantasy VII. This song almost has 10K plays undeservingly, or maybe deservingly so. We got my main man Stable on the track. For those of you that don't know, he's a community staple because my man's is kind of not really the best rapper that you can encounter in our community, but boy, do we love him and, you know, just appreciate him for trying and being around and, you know, putting his best foot forward whenever he can.
He's not a community staple, he's a community stable.
That's right. Round one. Time. I don't know.
Yeah, just that song. This song, it's a great song to get in on.
All right, let's get it. Let's share this screen. And yeah, Limit Break. Let me make the volume a little comfortable here. Boom. I didn't click play. Boom. Let's get it. This song kind of sucks, but it's cool. Last song, boys.
Hoorah, I be ripping on Medusas. Hey, got my homie on my new song. Bet. Kill the beats of a minutia. Dead. Let me broken handed out. My dog is feeling overpowered. That will make me richer. Wanna be the David in the baby pictures. You already know I do this for my nigga. Wait a second. Sometimes I forget I'm here to make a difference. Sending shots, got no bullets looking like MacGyver. May or not be certain that everything's not in my bro. Put me up, got the heat looking like a lighter. They got killer he's like a CSS Clear and Iro. DJ DAX. Final Fantasy Remix. That thing my doom. 3 days and 24 hours by 3. Feeling like Jesus, that's 72.
If you let it be, see away.
Stable.
Did you not hear what I said? Elements are gone like Miss Tifa. Fundamental skills is what I am, what I ain't. A sucker for the cipher, not what it's the cause for the flow.
Let's get it.
Script, flip you a new one. Yeah, flip you a new one.
Hoorah, every rapper I will mock. Keep it stuck generic, you will make it to the top.
I be moving pressure, I been dancing with the drop.
I got peace of mind when I ball out like Fetty Wap.
Bars, let's get into it. I got peace of mind when I ball out like Fetty Wap. Time. Round 2. Let's get it.
The way it caught the way you say DAX is looking stable. Get it? Today is not your day, my face looking ready and able. Prophets never preaching unless they get in the pocket. This is just religion if you and Jesus ain't talking. Rappers need to grow up, there's no any real knockies. Future fantasy, be the project. Turn up. Limit breaker.
Time to power up.
Burberry tie, but I'm passing on the tux. Put it with Selena, but I go out for some lunch. You might be retarded if you think that still sucks.
Limit breaker, time to power up. Self-prof at a building, never back off cloud in the other world, trying to make a back, grab a headset, turn me up, wind it back, it's time to make a difference, stable.
This sample go crazy.
In the lane like Mr. Clean every day is a struggle. What a miss in the vest like a fist that is heartless. Dang.
What is going on?
Saffrost and a killer spree. Saving is a help word slower. Keyblade combos. I need to learn that. It'll buy time until cloud shows. Matter of fact, there he is. There he goes off to the.
My man is just rambling. I'm sorry.
I don't know if
Honestly, he ain't even rhyming. I'm looking at the lyrics.
He's not rhyming at all. You know, one of my favorite pastimes is reading that verse. Like I'm just talking to a nigga. Peep game. Limit breaker. Time to power up. Sephiroth in the building, never back off. Cloud in the other world, trying to make it back. Grab the headset, turn me up, wind it back. It is time to make a difference. Stable. In the battle scene, turning foes green, dust them off in a lean, like Mr. Clean. Every day is a struggle. What a mess. In a vest, like a chest that is heartless. Dang, what is going on? Sephiroth in a killing spree. Stable needs some help. Where's Sora? Keyblade combos. I need to learn that. It'll buy time until Cloud shows. Matter of fact, there he is. There he goes. Off to the battle. No recognition. Wasted my time. Dreams are reality.
Like, honestly, maybe I'm giving Sable too much credit, but what a mess in a vest like a chest almost was kind of crazy.
That's right.
So I'm like, at the end of the day, I don't know what's going on in the verse.
That is right. But let's close it off here. Limit breaker.
Man, I need a vent. Never living Vita with the person I resent.
Where?
With the turbo and the tents. I just want to fight with dreams and know I'm gonna win. Don't be mistreated, killing every lie.
116
till I die. Well, serious. Always been the guy. Shout out to Rio. Wait a second, hold on, never mind. I came out in the spot. Preacher dude, rocks can't take boss. Who's the boss? He's supreme God. Down to my last swing. Tell him that it's DAX King. Jurgen has a black hole. So watch out for my backswing. Leader of the rapping. Limit breaker snapping.
Hit game.
That would be a bad thing. Come in the church with the pen and your faded. Just saw the new girl, but I asked for her digits. Like, hello there, sister. Just minding my business. I can't help to notice you're proud to be Christians. And she's like, of course. I'm like, yeah, you're a Christian. She's like, man, how awkward. Abandon the mission. At that point, I get it. Like, this never winning. I leave and come back after breaking my limits. I tell a girl, no, my name is David. I've been super swagging, straight refrigerated. Baby, PDR is super dedicated. You can join my party. Both of us will make it. She's like, wow, at first I thought you were faking. Now I'm really glad none of us are taking. Then I tell her truth. She's like, one more thing. It's the lyricism that got me elated. Then we ate some bacon. It was all a dream. Then we started dating. Then became a team. Tell the baby making, but don't be mistaken. I give her the ring and her hair is taken. Super money's making. Never too mistaken.
I'm going to sleep now.
Great! The album's over. I'll review the song in a second, but that last sample you heard from Final Fantasy 1, tying it all together, right? That's the theme. Just really putting in some more samples that people may recognize. And I finally made it to sleepy time at the end of the album. Now, yeah, this song obviously sucks. Some backstory. This song was actually supposed to be a cipher. How do we know this? Let's look at the URL. SoundCloud.com/DJDax/ nobody else showed up. Okay. The idea being that I went on Facebook, you know, where all my buddies were for this kind of time in music. And I was like, yo, I'm getting a cipher together. Who want in? And niggas were like, me, put me on that hole. I'm down, blah, 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 including my man Stable. The deadline came around, only Stable had turned in a verse. And you know what? I was like, I'm not scrapping this. In fact, it's going on the album. And you know what? In fact, it's just going to be me and Stable. All right? And I'm using, even though I told this man a 16-bar verse and he gave me like 32, I'm using all of it. Okay? And I'm structuring it around a little bit so it's not as boring as it definitely could have been. But yeah, that's why this song is how it is. What happened, Cameron?
Nothing.
Cool. Oh, nice. But yeah, people sort of enjoyed that, and I think it's like inherent because it seems like Stable did one of his best performances, as not good as he is. But yeah, the song is nearly at 10K. That's why I battle with whether or not it's deservingly so. But yee.
Honestly, bro, Stable may not have carried, but he definitely didn't carry it either.
Yeah, he didn't bring it down.
Yeah, he didn't. He definitely didn't bring it up, but he definitely brought it down.
Okay, sure. My favorite part here, because I just kind of leave the topic of the song. When I said, come in the church with the pant and shirt fitted, I just saw the new girl. I'm about to ask for her digits. And then I just go on this diatribe about, like, saying hi. I notice she's Christian. She notices I'm Christian. We're, like, you know, hitting it off. And it's just me, like, romancing some shorty. Like, why? But yeah, I drift off and just rhyming for rhyming's sake. When I'm like, then we ate some bacon. It was all a dream. Then we started dating, then became a teen, started baby making. Don't be mistaken, I give her the ring and her hand is taken, super money making. But yeah, and then I finally close it out with finally sleeping. But yeah, that was Future Fantasy. Oh my god. It's so exciting to finally be done with that, to be fair. And to have AURENE next, the coveted album, the one that people sort of actually enjoy. You know, it was still the same year, but I think I had something better to work with. But yeah, guys, that was that. That was my Final Fantasy inspired, faith inspired, nerdcore sort of Team Future effort. And you know what? Let's get into it. Let's get into whether or not I rank this high or low or mid or whatever the hell. Because
the Stable Feature definitely puts at the #1 spot.
Yeah, I love that reality where that could be true. I'm gonna tell you, I think, I don't know, maybe 72 is more special than this one, but at the same time, part of me says this one is special to me also, in that I'm sort of speaking about my faith and where I was back in 2016 and 2013 in this low spot of my life. And this album was a desperate attempt to keep things optimistic through my faith, despite really feeling down. And of course, cheering myself up with the pink-haired waifu that is Lightning. I almost said Lightning McCloud. Lightning...
Yeah, Fox McCloud,
something.
Lightning McCloud.
I forget what her name is. It's some dumbass Final Fantasy-ass name. I think Bliss Plus Blunder goes at second. I mean, Future Fantasy goes at second for now.
Yeah, Bliss Plus Blunder had that one heater. I forget the name of it.
For me, my favorite song, I mean, I don't know who's asking, but my favorite song on that project is Defo Defo, Paradigm Shift, because it was so fun. It was just so fun to make. I was just rapping my ass off, actually saying something about the concept of the album, or referencing Final Fantasy, and rapping really fast. And, like, not bad-ish.
That's the DAX staple.
That's a DAX staple when I finally land that. But guys, the next project that we have to talk about is AURENE. If Future Fantasy was all about keep your head up, man, you're a good kid, God loves you, then AURENE is the opposite. It ain't looking good for you, Chief. I'm gonna keep it a stack, you know. I'm gonna keep it 2 Virgils. It's looking quiet. It's looking dark. Yeah. And you may be wondering. Oh, go ahead.
If Bliss Plus Blunder is like, you wanna how I wanna relate this to?
Dale.
Everything before AURENE is essentially like, you know, Green Day, like how their biggest album was Dookie. Yeah, everything before AURENE is pre-Dookie. It's that DAX angst. It's you trying to prove yourself as an artist. And AURENE is that entirety come to fruition.
I think there is a culmination in AURENE, yeah.
It's like everything has pseudo built up to AURENE at this point.
Yes.
AURENE is like the climax of this saga in a sense.
And I can't wait for you to enjoy it. I mean, Camo, you're part of a wave of friends, particularly what I would call the Bemunity. But the majority of the Bemunity had not really assembled until, you know, you and some others started coming around, which is way after AURENE, right? I guess we can say it was like a year or 2 ago that, you know, we started meeting, right?
2 years ago.
Yeah. So AURENE was way before that. So I wonder how it's gonna be for you and everybody else that has not experienced my music, a highlight of my music, but from the past. This one was released for my birthday of that year, October 26, 2016.
Yeah. I sleep on you when you turn 22.
Hey, spoilers. AURENE thematically is not about a goddamn video game. What it's based on, well, let's read the description. The shadows adorn and mask the ugly in me, like the opaque. I lost track because I saw a text that came in. Wink, wink. The shadows adorn and mask the ugly in me, like the opaque AURENE glass vase that fools those who lay eyes on it with its iridescent texture. Don't let the light in just yet. There's something beautiful in the sorrow. It seems like I was a little flustered reading that. But, yeah. This album is based on a vase that I saw. Yeah. I don't even know if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. So this AURENE vase that I came across, this style of glassware or whatever the hell, spoke to me. And what I realized is that there was something in having an opaque vase that could hide what was inside, but would be so beautiful on the outside. Which is why I was saying, don't let the light in just yet. There's something beautiful in this sorrow. And yeah, that's what I'm focusing on this project. That I don't want the light. Like, I'm relishing in the darkness. I'm relishing in the negative feelings that were surrounding me. Kind of succumbing to it and, surrendering to it. This album, its theme is that vase, but along with it, because it's sort of about textures and visuals, AURENE is all about light, like the physics of light. And we see that in its track list. I want to go over that real quick before we jump in. You can tell by how it's named. You got Silhouette, Umbra, which is, shadow physics, Infrarrojo, which is Spanish for infrared. One is just one. But Eisengrau, which is a word for the darkest dark that one can see, meaning like when you close your eyes and you're in complete darkness, that black you see is Eisengrau.
Yeah, it's not black, it's just the absence of everything.
Exactly. Chiaroscuro, which is a style of like illustration and painting and like almost like a genre, but it's characterized by deep, harsh shadows, like almost like stage lit. Ultravioleta, which is ultraviolet, of course, which is another end of the spectrum, infrarrojo, ultravioleta. You got Advesperasket, which I actually don't even goddamn remember. Let's go to the Evernote. Like, I had to trip up on something. Let's see here. Because I had its definition. Advesperasket, evening approaches in Latin, or darkness draws near. Iridescent culminates it. That's the end of that project with Iridescent, which we know as, the texture is very rainbowy. And then End Area is actually the bonus track. So it's completely unrelated. But it's also called End Area because it's the goddamn end of the project. So yeah, we're getting into some light physics, boyos. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to really get into this. And let's get it. The first song is Silhouette. Oh boy, this one was a big meme. People loved this one. 13K. Let's get it, boys.
Jareel the Deity and Lareel. Or Jareel and Lareel.
I know the way you make me. I know the way you make me. Sometimes things go crazy. All glass just had to break me. I know. I've seen how you betrayed me. It's true. Know that you'll talk me up safely the usual way that you do. Baby, it's too dark, but I clearly see that you bid me adieu. Silhouette shadow with days that I've wrote. Mystery inside the glass, masking what it has. Our love is in the past, I dream that never lasts. So I yell at deities and ask them if they're real. They tell me God is love, I guess that's why I feel not at all. Still a mess, you're no good for me. Your silhouette, body's all I see. I've been attending personally, you say my thing, yet I live with the little things, cause you got me AURENE, yeah. Gotta leave your silhouette. Gotta leave your silhouette. Gotta leave your silhouette. Gotta leave your silhouette.
I can see your silhouette so prominently, so I can't forget all of the times you up and disappeared, then came back and had me thinking the heavy clouds are cleared up. But I can see them in the distance, girl. Yeah, a summer rain is what I truly feel. Here come the drizzle scenes in every drop. The picture I took time to draw for you right now is Smith. My mama told me I should go inside days ago, but giving up ain't really how I ride. Never was, so I'ma sit right through the storm that the Weather Channel told me beforehand would fall. Is that the wind or is that your breath? Yeah, is that the thunder or your footstep? Is that the lightning or just my death?
Lightning.
I don't know no more, but you are my meth. You are my meth.
You shadow your former self, you the reason I don't trust women craving wealth. You were so temporary. But the damage was done and it's permanent. Films decided to hope you were burning it. You never realized the world that would turn your bitch films. Have that what you doing, you're dirt and shit. But you claim you should blame me. You such a lame, crazy baby. Did everything right, but you did it all wrong. Had to buy your silhouette on my wall. You the reason I hate myself and I just wanna end it all. The lesson lived, the lesson learned, the rest of this life is concerned. Will life be forever cursed to repeatedly be undermined my word fate?
Still a mess, you're no good for me.
Your silhouette body's all I see, yeah.
I've been attentive, visually you seem attentive. Ugly with the little things, cause you got me orange.
Gotta leave your silhouette.
I know. Gotta leave your silhouette. I know.
Gotta leave your silhouette.
I know. Gotta leave your silhouette.
Keep game. Yes, Silhouette. Oh my god.
You know what?
Yeah.
First going in, it was a solid song, but what I do feel like you could have had was, I feel like, I don't know if you and Jaquel were like as close as now.
Jarrell.
Or like, no, I mean Jaquel.
Oh,
because
Jaquel instead.
Yeah, I definitely believe you could have like gotten him as like backing vocals for the chorus.
Yes. So yeah, if you want to get into like the what I would have done, yeah, I mean, so look, I'm proud of the song because it's one of the instances of me actually finally kind of getting auto-tune correctly. But that being said, not mastering it, which is why I didn't use it everywhere as effectively, and sometimes just avoided using it entirely. On that hook, I would have slaughtered that with my auto-tune today. But with how I used it then, I definitely didn't really know how to even be guided. But yeah, I agree with that. The chorus could have been a little better. And to be fair, what ends up happening, because the hook isn't perfect, the guiding force of the song is sort of the first verse and how it kind of comes back into the hook the second time, which is interesting. Very interesting structurally. Yeah, but this is the song. This was big because the community was hearing me introduce an album with this. Like, it wasn't like a grand showing of something. It was this immediate, like, slog, just treading through the mud of sadness, I guess. And there's many lines in there. Many lines. You hear me mention the vase. You hear me mention the light physics. My dream that would never last. This dream thing is becoming very important all of a sudden. Next song.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Is called Umbra. Before we go in, realize the context here. Track 2 was a very important thing to me because back in the day when this album was released, track 2 was not released alongside it. And people had to wait, and it became a huge meme, a huge marketing push. People were like, track 2, and everybody was posting it everywhere on Facebook, on SoundCloud, all over the place. It was a huge thing. One of my highlights of my career, honestly, at least from that time. And then it finally was released post launch of the album. And this is it. It's Umbra.
Was there any reason track 2 took so long?
Yes. And I get into that on Done Dreaming, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just wait for the explanation.
That's right. But let's get into it. Umbra, the shadow.
This is just dark color, so we can put a lighter color on top of it later. It'll stand up. Absolutely have to have dark in order to have light. Gotta have dark. Gotta have opposites. Dark and light, light and dark. Continually in painting. You have light on light, you have nothing. You have dark on dark, you basically have nothing. There we are. You know, it's like in life. You gotta have a little sadness once in a while so you know when the good times come. I'm waiting on the good times now.
Let's go.
Woo! So if these lines be colder than the tundra, go ahead and blame it on the umbrella. Blame it on the umbrella. Blame it on the umbrella. Shit. Blame it on the umbrella. Blame it on the umbrella.
They throw shade like a blade, imprisoned in the dark. Whole family mad at me, schism in my heart. But if we only cousins at the grandma passes, there ain't shit changed except grandma's taxes.
Preach.
You by the draws, now I'm on the ashes. Rappers graveyard, Westport full of caskets. Blame it on the masses, unnear how I keep it when they call me a villain. Well, fuck it, I'll be it.
Call it like you see it, man, I say just what I mean. Took Corinthians to 11 cause the devil got a scheme. People throwing shade and it gets darker on the scene. I'm feeling like Pablo Ocha feeling for the bean. Sometimes I roll like a chicken that got me rotisserie. But they can't mess with the preacher when the light is what I see. There's only 1-800 like the number on your screen. With a 70-second reverend, yeah, the future be the team.
My soul like you show. No light and it's a cold night. I'm such a low life.
Molded by the shadow, call it pain of existence.
They can't hold me back, I'ma still go the distance.
But put it out into what it needed was pleading for some resilience.
Tiptoe in the line between insanity and brilliance. Still 9-11, hey,
tell them how it goes.
Angels turning into snakes,
friends are turning into foes. It's too dark,
feeling like I can't be seen.
Where to start?
Wonder what it all might mean.
Vindicated,
staying faded,
never made it.
So they hate it,
always hated.
Tell them David,
underrated,
emulated. Woo! I see accusations got my heart like the tundra.
I ain't speaking right, go and blame it on the umbra.
Woo, Flip.
Let's
go.
No light in my mind, feeling the darkest of nights. So if these lines be colder than the tundra. Blame it on the umbrella. Blame it on the umbrella. Shit. Blame it on the umbrella. Blame it on the umbrella.
Listen, hear nothing but the whole truth. Weak on the mic, spend my soul in this booth. Never knowing the muse of my role in this roost. Sometimes feel like I see my goal through the news. Why should I be living if I ain't living my dreams? 30 still hold no giving the teams. My system is screams for infinite means to break out these chains. Sit with these kings. Sometimes it's irrelevant how much that you crave it. Will I ever see the day I can really say we made it?
20 years of age and I've never let the shade fade. Life is just a game, but I ain't ever about to rage quit. Nothing but sadness, they give me bad news. They said I'm stressing, I might need the juice. Am I doing numbers? Should I have more views? Should I just smoke up and let myself loose? But I'm planning mine just for the losses. Remember what you forgot and achievements and all you got it. I'm too close like Siamese vehicles. PDR season, no letting my speakers go off.
Devil at the door, think I might be going under. So no,
go ahead and blame it on the umbrella.
Let's go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey, yo, Faye.
DAX.
Of course.
This one.
David, animal. Tana, where the fuck you put the folder, bro? Call me back.
Yep.
Yeah. That shit was hot. That shit was hot.
That was
bro.
hot, right?
That was hot. That hook really got me in.
Ah, yes. I mean,
y'all was like going back and forth. Oof.
Yes. Oh my God, what a satisfying song. Both to make and I guess to hear, but yeah, like I got to have that back and forth with Ish. I mean, I didn't break down any of these lyrics. On this song or on these songs, there's gonna be a lot less of that unless it ties into the lore of the trilogy, but because they're pretty obvious. Like I'm speaking of light and dark concepts, which everybody can understand, but everything is, you know, just real life stuff. And yeah, we're going back and forth, which is creatively satisfying as rappers. I even mapped it out crazy. Like, Ish gets an 8 bar. I get an 8 bar. He gets 2 bars. I get 2 bars. He gets 1 bar. I get 1 bar. 1 bar. 1 bar. And then here, halves. Then Lion, Love, and Hate. Tell them how it goes. Angels turning into snakes. Friends are turning into foes. And then here, fourths. Vindicated, staying faded. Never made it, still they hate it. Always hated. Tell them David. Underrated, emulated. Like, I'm dividing this hoe up. And like even on the latter half, after the piano comes in, we split in the middle of a 4 bar. And I mean, Ish is beautiful. I love him for how he paid attention to the lyrics that I handed him because he played off of plenty. Like I said 20 years of age, he mentioned that he was 30. And there's stuff like that all throughout where he really was trying to play off of me perfectly. Everybody here was a team player. I love the sound of this. It's obviously dated in a sense, but like it can still speak to me, I think. At the end, we heard a little voice recording from my coworker Ziomara, ex-coworker. I mean, lovely gal. I'm pretty sure I had a crush on her back in the day. She actually went to my school. But yeah, super cool person overall, and you'll actually be hearing more of her later on. But yeah, the next song is Infrarrojo.
Infrared.
That's right. So let's get into that. Oh, actually, and before we get into it, shout out to Bob Ross in the intro of Umbra, right? That excerpt was from a time in his life where I think like his wife had just died or something. And he was just trying to like keep up the show, you know, his painting show. And he kind of let it slip, like some real ass stuff where he's talking about sometimes you need the dark to appreciate the light or this or that, right? Like you can't see anything if you don't have the dark. If you just have light, there's nothing, you know? And this is really what this album's about. This is the dark half to the future fantasy, which is the light half. And Bliss plus Blunder is the amalgam of that. So that's why I have him attesting to why you need the darkness in time. Infrarrojo.
The gods confound the man who first found out how to distinguish hours. Confound him too, who in this place set up a sundial to cut and hack my days so wretchedly into small portions.
Let's pause real quick. That was Man God as a cameo on the intro, reading an excerpt from some Greek thing. I forget, like at this very moment. But basically it's a complaint. It's a philosopher complaining that, you know, curse the gods who even gave us the ability to cut up the hours of a day on a sundial. Basically, he hates time, which is the focus of this song.
Below. My music's timeless, but I know I ain't. I shouldn't mind it, but I'm not a saint. Never. Temporal island, time will make me faint. Days will phase and years will pass. Our phantom hourglass. Time is my biggest enemy. Can't fix it all with Hennessy. Got an earthly identity. Eternal the do should be. What good does it do for me to have the sickest eulogy? It's true, it seems. Things are better than, that's a fact. Counted on my days, woe is me. Every single thing that I lack could have been fixed, given more time, living poetry. So indeed, I need more TikToks. What I got ain't enough. Buy a bigger wristwatch, I forgot, that's a bluff. Nostalgia, I won't forget. Watching memories through the infrared. I can barely see it.
Back on it all. I just pray that I do it all. Time waits for no man, rushing to the end. I can see clearly that I am not needed, rushing to the end. I can see clearly that I am not needed, back on it all. I just pray that I do it all. Time waits for no man, rushing to the end.
I can see clearly that I am not needed.
Rushing to the end. I can can see clearly that I am not needed. Below the ceiling, I'm staring into the paint again. You see, I know. No matter the accolades that I'm giving, I'm less than what I'm living. I'd rather think about who I used to be. Clueless and sleeping, it seems my memory's keeping me in the past. In reality, it's all I want to be. Thinking of the bliss and what it's like to be here blunder free. Now it's all a future fantasy to go back. Maybe I should do it different, but I guess I'll never know that. Maybe I should count my blessings in a different setting. Maybe it's the thoughts of what's behind me. I'm obsessing over nothing and I'm losing connection with what's ahead of me. I'm racing myself and I'm still ahead in lead. But still the past invites me and it's heavenly. Looking through the infrared at all that used to make me peace.
I don't want to go up. Mr. Oldie. David.
Looking back on it all, I just pray that I do it all. Can't wait for no man, rush into the end. I can see clearly that I am not needed. Rush into the end. I can see clearly that I am not needed. Looking back on it all, I just pray that I just pray that I can't wait for no man, rush into the end. I can see clearly that I am not needed. Rush into the end. I can see clearly that I am not needed. I am not needed. No, I am not needed.
Okay. So that was Infrarojo.
Song was solid.
Solid, right? Very spacious, heavy on ambience, I guess. Really complaining about how time is the bane of my existence. And this is a legitimate feeling. I mean, I don't need to harp on it any more than what the song did, but yes, I hate time because I always feel like I could always have more of it. It's holding me back. And I mean, death is inevitable only because time is always ticking. Shout out to Peace for actually nailing what I asked of him here when he says, "It's all I want to be, thinking of the bliss and what it's like to be here, blunder free. Now it's all a future fantasy to go back." And what that really speaks on is that the past, because of how much I hate time, the past sort of seems like an optimistic place, but that's not where I am. I'm here in the present, where it's no longer blunder free, where it's not bliss anymore, where it's not a future fantasy. I'm in AURENE, where it's dark, and that's to say that it's all time's fault. Of course, tying the projects together again, the fact that AURENE, Bliss for Splendor, and Future Fantasy are a thing. Last thing I wanted to say is that little sample at the end is from this salsa song, a song I love called Yo No Sé Mañana, which is literally translated to I don't know about tomorrow. And that's central to the song that we have in front of us, right? In that it's about hating time. And this song, it's a love song, but on the hook, we're on the whole thing, he's over here talking about like, you know, forget the clocks, forget the time that we have. Like, let's get into it. Let's love each other while we can, because I have no clue what tomorrow brings. And, you know, that's kind of the pain at the center of Infrarojo. But Young Boy Money, you know who it is. Preacher Dude who will reheat your food. PDR beating up nerds. I just opened up FL Studio by accident. Jesus Christ, I hate that I keep it so close to the other icons. Jesus Christ. All right, the next song is called One, featuring Eris, the return of Eris, who we first saw in Bliss Plus Blunder. Let's get into it, boys. There's a Peso Pete cameo on this one.
Yeah.
Boy, you already know that I'm the one. What's the gudo? When you got me on deck, call it Uno. Google DJ DAX if you really got the chrome. 100% authentic, the legend, you just a pseudo.
Wait, like the browser?
I'm the truth. I can kill the track and still call it all living proof. Yeah. Careful how you speak, I can't find who you talking to. I'm a neat Inspector Gadget and Sherlock Holmes Super Sleuths for the one. What do you know? We spitting the judo, that's flipping awesome, so kudos to me. Sing a puro, ain't need nobody else but myself. We be the duo. For Rizzy, most dedicated. For Rizzy, most underrated. For Rizzy, just what I'm stating. The greatest agent is David. I hate it. Spending my days when I'm not justly celebrated. A wrestling, I know I made it. Just give me the trophies. Gold teeth. Cozy. In upper rooms, it's lonely on the podium, you know it's true. My mama always told me, if there's one thing she taught, the bottom's company, but it's lonely at the top. I don't got a homie, me is all I got. Came to earth the way I'll drop one. You've been threatened, do this all again, I have one just like it's 11. This tape's got red receipts, so I know that you get the message. I get it, there's nothing alien about saying you ready. Get the blue shell, I'm whipping this Bentley. Come have 2 L's, the one like I'm jelly. For real, it's my matrix, the one evidently. Like Neo, tons of wasting and got no time for the deal or no deal. They say I'm too young and then they say I'm too old. I say the same old mantra, mi ojos es el futuro. I'm cruel, greatest of all time. Now, I need nobody else myself, we be the duo. For busy, I need it all, the instant models to come. You kidding? Unhidden DMs, the others don't really need them. Believe it, the money talk, yeah, those are only fall. Good riddance, I'm always second to none. They already know I'm the one. For what I do, gold teeth. For me, not you. Cozy in upper rooms, it's lonely on the podium, you know it's true.
Something I wanted to say before we get into that bridge. Interesting stuff going on here. Generally interesting stuff. Yeah, I mean, obviously this song is about how I need nobody else, and it's just me. But it's sort of tainted in some bitterness, right? So it's not the most genuine way of putting it. But yeah, there's some braggadocio here. I love the lines. Let's see here. Do this all again. I'll have one twice like it's 11. Duh, because there's 2 ones. Red receipts, you get the message, right? There's nothing alien. Reddit, like the Reddit alien. Go get the blue shell, because I'm in first. Come have 2 L's. I'm the one, like I'm Jet Li, because he's in a movie called The One. It's my Matrix. I'm the one evidently, like Neo, who was also the one in his movie. Really like speaking to that. Right here, when you hear greatest of all time, and then you hear ain't need nobody else but myself, we be the duo. That's Maverick the Ronin. That's what is it? Nightwing, or whatever his name is now, Grayson, I believe. That's his little cameo. And I mean, that's important, right? I never needed anybody else but myself, because me and myself be the duo. So ye. Speaking to that, I'm always second to none. They really know I'm the one. Let's get into this bridge, because we speak on that bitterness in my heart in a bit.
My mama always told me that there's one thing she taught, that bottom's company, but it's lonely at the top. I don't got a homie, me is all I got. Came to earth the way I'll drop one. It's lonely here, there's nobody near. Stop losing my friends, that's the thing that I feel.
The way
it appears, there's no place for peers, there's no time for tears, just transcending tears. I'm yearning for years when careers when they hear me and let me an ear, but I'm done. They say that the silence is telling the sounds that you want. I'm the one, I'm the one, I'm the one, baby, you know. My heart's Articuno, the last one left Uno, I won. The one, only one, solely run down and weary. You hear me across of the waves as they toss back and forth. Never done the ocean with no sun. And on top, I'm the one man I lost. Woo! As the hand that on the side of some order song, yeah, you know. To me itself, a winner can win alone. Post it up like Malone. Hashtag man, I'm moving on. I got 10 digits, only one number. No sheep cow in slumber, just Uno the one.
Ooh! DAX,
It's Pete. Like, can you answer the phone? Like I don't know what's going on. Like honestly, like again, if we talked about this, you're salty. That Ryuko Matsumoto just had a fucking amazing look at it, and it crushed your lyricism. Like I understand, it must be tough, but we need to talk. So pick up the fucking phone.
That was Peso Pete on the cameo. Oh my god, what a song! It's maybe not musically all there, but god, did I try to communicate that bitterness of being alone on purpose. This album's all about embracing that darkness, and part of it is that sometimes we feel lonely, but we strive for it. Like we want nobody else around. And I'm masking it in this braggadocio of, man, I'm the best. But I even bring in this Uno concept of, when I'm like, I'm the one, baby, my heart's Articuno, Ice-type Pokemon. The last one left, Uno, I won. Which really goes to show, like, the kind of, like, cognitive dissonance of, yeah, I won, but I'm the only one here. The last one left. So, like, yeah, it's lonely at the top is, like, the concept here, right? And I'm really doing myself a disservice by being so braggadocio. Peso Pete left a voicemail talking about the Riko Matoi, Satsuki Kirin sort of beef that we had going on at the time, which wasn't a legitimate beef. It was like a fun little thing we had. But consider why in the lore of these projects he would have to leave me a voicemail. I think it's a little more than obvious, but yeah. Aijin Grau is up next. We got a stacked thing going on here. It's me, Sage the 64th Wonder, who may go by a different name now, actually. I forget what his name is now. But A Genius and Jaquel. This one's a big one. This was actually the single for the project. Let's get into it. Yeah.
The AURENE jacket, I'm fucking with you.
Right?
It's racing, man. Where you at, bro? Where you been at? I'm bumping this Megazord. It's fire, bro. You want me to pick up your phone? Come on, man. Pick it up. Call me back, man, alright?
Okay. All right. Keep that in your back of your heads, boys. It was all a dream.
Damn, senpai, where'd you find this?
Shout out Diggs.
I'll be there like 5 minutes. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You can die with it, thinking you a real one. Say my goals, I can't get it. I'ma show you all. Shot clock running out in this Kelly sport. Standing over everybody. I'm 20 foot tall. Stomping on them if they made me hard. More on my mama, nigga.
Let's go.
These niggas mad at me.
Huh?
Cause I'm way happy than I'll ever be. The darkness never get a hold of me. I'ma break free like a weak bitch holding me.
Let's go.
Here I go.
Land of ways. Fuck going on round in this place. Cool ass bitches acting woke and shit, but can't fuck with a nigga cause they broke his shit. I should've told that bitch that I ain't on that clip. Now this shit mad as fuck, wanna call it quits. Look focused and this could throw us in, interfolding them or we're sold in this godforsaken round.
Word of crown, King Aijin Grau. Man, I've been up into the shadows since I was a kid, bro. I'm scared of injection, my conscience is down. Sing to me.
I don't even like the bitch shot.
Pitch black, still afraid I'm losing balance in my life. But sometimes I forget who I am. I'm gonna yell it to him. It's DAX, still afraid to choose a talent. Do or die, been the preacher, that's why I can't even pick witchcraft.
Yeah, don't even know. Big nigga know how we go. Enjoy the show, homie, cause I'm about to blow. And my rollie be looking like snow. I don't need you hoes. I got my #1 girl and she ride with me everywhere. So fuck all your feelings, you didn't care about mine. Getting pushed right all the time. I see my exes want me back.
That's right.
But you was getting too attached. Niggas tell me they can rap, but they cannot even light a match. Here I go. Here I go. Now you know I go hard when I go.
I've been scared because I know my future's looking dark. When I invest my years of college into music and the arts. Terrible with no night. nightlight is like life in general. Courage always fades away when vision is ephemeral. Feeling with the baddie in a Rari. Maybe Bella Hadid. Ruling over shadows, spinning Rahi. Nah, I mean, finishing the gamut in my church shoe. The beauty and the sorry. I tell them all.
The only hand signs that I throw up for the animals. Don't need to be a number on the challenge. Drop the cannon, bro. I live to make a difference. Well, for mine and mine only. Defied to try to rise. Spirit of the color night. I woke up with a sword and shield. The shoulders tucked the shorts. The field of being a rogue ninja. And this shit's a bittersweet one. But trust that I don't let the judgment of the keeper gate live. They make lists and say shit to make these rappers play bitch.
I told you once.
Do you know what I mean when I say I'm feeling Aurene?
I won't tell you twice.
Shadows are my muse, situations getting Ari.
Here I go.
Shadows make me loco.
Here I go.
Darkness in my vocals.
Here I go.
21, I'm really local.
Here I go.
October, where's my birthstone?
Here I go.
Light shining on my opal.
Here I go.
Iridescent, feeling hopeful.
Now you know why I go on where I go.
They don't wanna see you glow, so this little light gon' shine. They throw shade when a star is exposed. I guess they ain't tryna go blind. Everything got a video will tell you it's ghosts. The people confuse our black diamonds for cold. It's a hell of a show, and of course the devil's a host. Rocking the most, cause he's doing the most. Could get caught up any day now, and nothing in this coast. So I go hard till the casket is closed. Your heart is black, you really think I'm scared of that? My arms go back, components and cats. And then you'll see my soul spark. That's your nightlight kid, that's soul sparking. I ain't repos met at night and digs. I load up my pen and pad as I write my fears. Get some fully loaded rhymes to acquiring ears. Screaming loudly and proud, cause I've been silent for years. You had your chance with the lamb, now the lion is in. Get them child, don't hide your tears. Struggle there too, and I can cry with you. I know it seems like no one knows what you've been through. In your bed while you hear screaming in the living room. Feeling like you can't escape the straight life you live. All they do is take, something's gotta give. And all we do is pray, someone's gotta hit. God shines a beacon just so that I know he's near. Lord,
be a lighthouse. In this dark world, Lord, be a lighthouse. In this dark world, Lord, be a lighthouse. In this dark world, be a lighthouse.
Yeah. So that was Eisengrau. What do we say here? Yeah, that was like one of my first attempts at making something sort of cinematic in an album. I mean, mostly due to the instrumental, of course. I try to play around it. That's me just kind of revealing some of the artist stuff going on, Dale. And I mean, it's a sort of fun ride, especially at the time for the people aware of the people on it and all that. Sort of an interesting structure, with Jaquel kind of having a hook that's more like a verse each time. And I'm not even on it as much as he is. But yeah, like it's all for that effort. Like I said, Eisengrau was supposed to be the darkest dark that you can see. Some of the stuff that I share here is my conflict in terms of where I wanted to take my life. It's DAX, still afraid to choose a talent, do or die. I've been to preacher, that's why I can't even pick witchcraft. Obviously the bar there's like, because witchcraft is pagan, the preacher wouldn't do that. But I have a problem choosing which talent I want to focus on, right? There's a lot of things that I'm decent at, some that I'm good at, some that I'm great at, but I feel conflicted on what I want to invest my time in. In the verse 2, I even speak on that a little more, talking about investing my years of college into music and the arts. And to me, it feels like a room with no nightlight, given that this whole thing is about, darkness and light and all that. So yeah, very interesting stuff. Lastly, in terms of lyrics, that's something I want to go over here. When we go into Here I Go, just some stuff that maybe not everybody understands. 21, I'm fairly local. I believe I might have been 21 around the time. Yes, I think I turned 21 that year. Because this was released for my birthday, so I was turning 21. And 21 Pilots is my favorite band, and I had just discovered them at the time. And they have a song called Fairly Local. So, it fits with the rhyme scheme. Very perfect stuff there. October, Where's My Birthstone? Okay. Because I'm an October baby. was my birthstone. The October birthstone, of course, is the opal. Okay. And guess what? It's iridescent. So it all falls into this theme of like, you know, I should be this iridescent boyo, filled with light and blah, 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 and hope and the good and whatnot. So yeah, I continue with saying light shining on my opal, iridescent, feeling hopeful. It all ties in. It's just a lot of connections there is what I'm getting at here. Yeah. But yeah, very fun stuff. Next song, might be a hard one to get into musically, but I'm getting into another thingy. For the boy, young boy Money in the chat, who was asking about if I'm a preacher, if I'm Christian, this and that. This is sort of getting into that. This next song is called Chiaroscuro. Features Lay on it, actually, before he was a Team Future member. And yeah, let's get into it.
Hi, David. Are you dead? Where are you? Because I'm here, waiting for you. You're not dead.
That's my friend Idania, leaving another voicemail.
This must be a white katana. When it's too dark to see, I'll paint that picture of where I be. Not black or white, I'm in between. That's life for a DAX. I see black light, so turn up the scene.
Oh, there's some bad singing on this, I think. Maybe. I'm pretty sure.
Catch me, I'm falling. Knee deep, almost all in. Stop me from falling. In defeat, I cannot win. Trust me, I'm calling. With something I can't be. A believer since a rather early age. Not trying to today. I struggle with faith. My parents told me when I came to college I could never let my spirit fade. Excuse here, excuse there. Read this bias, bro, but the truth's fair. Sorry, I'm in science, but I ain't lying. I got plenty of Bibles, but the proof's where? Maybe God ain't expired the ant. He made it a bit. But some of those lines are in bad taste. Honestly, this is legit, so I just excuse them by saying they were in a bad place. Jesus had progressiveness, it is the bed. I'll tell you it wasn't enough. Sure, one been tagged on too, but for equality, man, he just kept them in last place. Never do blackface, but here are the rules on how you should treat slaves, no matter exact page. I feel like I'm told I should not use my brain. It's heartbreaking, this is all I knew. When it comes to preaching, what I love to do. My faith's waning, it's a great pain in the painting. Never let a man be silent.
Okay, wow, what a heavy, also heavy to hear, and also heavy to or to take in sort of verse. Because yeah, I'll admit again, not very musically excellent right now. The mixing is ambitious, but not perfect, obviously. But heavy stuff to take in. Basically, what I'm talking about is my faith and how it's sort of waning. My life's painting mixes the black and white every day. Chiaroscuro is about, you know, harsh lighting, right? So intense whites, intense blacks mixing. We're not even mixing, but, you know, to make that sort of stage lit look on a painting. And that's what I'm getting at. If my life's painting is the black and white mixing, what I'm speaking about is my morality kind of turning gray and really understanding where the Bible fits into all this. And I mean, I get into stuff here like about science and how that plays into truth, the proof. This part might seem abstract, but I'm really talking about something specific here. Like when I said Jesus was progressive in a sense, but I felt it wasn't enough. When I see stuff like how feminism was approached by the Bible, I don't think it was enough, in that women were still kept in last place all the way throughout the New Testament still. Sure, they weren't as, you know, let's say relatively caged in as some other beliefs or whatever, but it was still not enough. It's not where we're at today even, right? And even with race relations, you know, I bring up never do blackface, but at the same time, the Bible has rules about how you should treat slaves, meaning like, yeah, you can have them and this is how like this works. And in my head, there's a conflict of like, what? So like, where does this all fit? Like even my morality can't handle the Bible, and even my sense of like reality in terms of science and truth can't handle the Bible at times, which is why I ended with my faith's waning. It's a great pain in the painting, you know, chiaroscuro, never letting man meet God. What am I referring to? You know, the painting. hand extended. It's God trying to touch fingers at Adam. And they never actually touch. So I feel like that. It's almost like I'm never letting me meet God. Let's finish this up.
When I'm lonely, who consoles me? When I'm puzzled, are you there to figure out?
Whew.
If the stage is ready for amazement. When I'm puzzled, are you there to figure out me? Catch me, I'm falling. Knee deep, almost all in. Stop me from falling. Defeat, I cannot win. Trust me, I'm calling. It's all this I can't be. Black and white, got both in my sight and it's missing in life pretty well. I'm mixing knowledge with God, it's apparent. It's living hell. Learn about me, David, not like this. Life will be a blunder when forgetting bliss. Sorry, ignorance. I know God is real, but he's done it all just to not exist. I'm lost and I know I'm lost and it's all my faults and be constant. I keep on falling and I keep stalling. I'm calling. Terminal velocity saves place. Like an actor right on stage. Feeling like I fall from grace. When it's too dark to see, I'll paint that picture of where I be. Not black or white.
I'm in between.
I'm in between. That's life for DAX. I see black light, so turn up team. So turn up team. Woo! Know what I mean? No Martin Luther. Forgot my dream.
The dream.
Back on the scene, God and I be asking what life means, and we both got the answer.
My homies out working for the greatness like we hit and leave. Yeah, we too deep, turned a new leaf like fall weather. Working hard so all fall together. I flex hard like the Ginyu Force. Melanin shine, but I'm a mellow fellow trying to live with dodging all the blue and red. With a red dot, my future got a shot ahead.
Melanie Iglesias, come to my iglesia. My invitation, I'm cool like a glacier. You're so hot, you're blazing. Right ways like the vapors. Got an eye friends long time. Now to see it talking imaginary. Lay real, it's been a long drive. Jesus had the wheel, and that's what's scary. Yeah.
No bueno, some hating, I cracked up. Successful progression, we back up. Lots of moves that all add up. Pull they tab up, it don't add up. So they back and did too much subtraction. Took the negative away, I did extraction. Cause they did some extra, not about the action. And I know one day we about to be on.
Yeah. So, thank God that second half is relatively more exciting. Trust me, it gets into another song that's more exciting. But, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, there's some dream stuff. There's some stuff touched on there. More God stuff touched on in a more fun way. Like, I like, this line is crazy to me. God and I be asking what life means, and we both got the answer. Meaning, when it comes to asking God and I, whoa, what's the meaning of life? God says something, and I say something. But, is it the same answer? I don't know. And that's what's scary. Like I said here, Jesus had the wheel, and that's what's scary. So, yeah, a lot of conflict here. And then,
my thing on going on like the God bars, right?
Yes.
The Martin Luther part, I definitely feel like you could have added a reference to the Martin Luther who posted like the revisions of like the Bible or some shit.
Yeah.
But you just went straight to the King one, so I don't really mind. But Martin Luther, Christianity.
There's another opportunity there. Yeah. Martin Luther King and Martin Luther of the Reformation. No, totally. Who knows? Maybe you can just interpret it that way if you want. The art is yours now. The outro, interesting. Very much more poetic. I wanted to be a tourist in my own city. The prismatic preacher, prisms, the light and all that, and his girl's pretty. The 72nd Reverend, your boy, with the iridescent essence, meaning the colors are all there. Can you learn the lesson? And boy, that gets us to the end of the spectrum. Ultravioleta, featuring Lone Moon and Zio, which is Ziomara, the co-worker that I mentioned earlier. With a special cameo at the end by him.
DJ DAX, Long Ruby got the facts, tell 'em.
Flight every week, flying, hey, get to the concert like, hey, not really feeling that great, but Daxter was bringing the A game, might have just argued with Bay, feeling we not on the same lane, working out right, I just gain pains, y'all hit his company with stain, lame, go metal, I got the Phelps flow, criminal lyrics, so jet, bro, but I be killing it till I'm really feeling the slow spitting unlimited, body beats, metro, Chuck Curry, I got the shot, boy, just Curry spitting the hot, boy, Sasuke the seasons ultraviolet, I'm ultraviolet, I'm ultra violent. You suck, stay ultra silent. Bars bang, better go and ultrasound it. Swing, better swing. Better being Irene, can I hit a sing? Better think Irene looking like a fling. But I mean she taking, or she could be faking. People say talking that static. Haters be speaking the noise. You don't approve of your mansion. Or you just head on the board. At times I'm not feeling the passion. I'm best no second your soul. Been a minute since I've been it, bro. I'm finna get it, better go. On that UV, on that UV. 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 Press like a tic-tac. Thought I'm you wanna get that. Geneva on my wrist, cut a nigga off and send him off to rehab. Lucy on me, I got 3 tabs. Irrelevant, I cannot see that. Looking fresh since the 8th grade, and I heard your bitch wanna be that. Balls on me like Adidas. When I'm innocent, guilty, I'm bleeding. Tell the goddamn government, cause the government stole my address. I know everything that you lacking. It ain't my fault that you slacking. You can't text in the hose and say you hit it from the back end like. Now I'm switching up the flow. Now I'm kicking down the door. She a no-show for you. For me, she take off all her clothes. Now I'ma pull up on you. No caddy, but I'm in the coupe. I tell her she going too fast. Bitch might be right on the ass. People say talking that static. Haters be speaking the noise.
Let's go.
You don't approve of your mansion. Or you just head on the board. At times I'm not feeling the passion. I'm best no second your soul. Been a minute since I've been it, bro. I'm finna get it, better go. On that UV. On that UV.
Before we get into this next verse or bridge or whatever the hell, Zio comes in. Not a rapper, like I said, my co-worker, so please excuse her.
On that UV, 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 on that UV.
That work, I got it. Don't get me started. Rap game, unlocking the passwords, I got it. That shirt, I bought it. Got patterns, they spotted. Disregard rings and top rings, I got rings like Sonic. Zio on that UV, son, I'm on your screen. Life is like a movie, learn from what I seen. Director cut a head, call that a guillotine. Cameras rolling, now they know I live on ring.
People say talking that static. Haters be speaking the noise. You don't approve of your mansion. Or you just head on the board. At times I'm not feeling the passion. I'm best no second your soul. Been a minute since I've been it, bro. I'm finna get it, better go. On that UV, on that UV. On that UV, on that UV. On that UV, on that UV. On that UV, on that UV.
Hey yo, DAX, what's good? It's your boy Hentai Dude. I'm over at the Moe Mansion right now. We're about to have a party. You should head on up. We got bunny girls, we got emotos.
What a crazy cameo.
We got everything, man. Just hit me up when you can, okay? I'll see you later, man.
So that's that song.
That's a crazy cameo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That song goated for that one.
That's right. Yeah, no, it's special to me. It's a fun one. Honestly, I just love that goddamn beat. The inspiration for this was that ultraviolet can be harsh, sometimes, like ultraviolet rays and whatnot. So I was speaking about sort of harshness in a general sense. It's kind of like a general haters type song. People stay talking that static. Haters be speaking that noise. So that's really all I'm really getting at. But it's a loose song. Like, I try to loosen up a little bit. Not as loose as I think I could have. Not as well executed as I could have. But it's a thing. And honestly, this next song is pretty heavy, Advis Parasket. But I think I kind of do it justice, as ambitious as it is. We got a Timmy O cameo at the end, and Real Venom is featured on it. With one of his better features, I think. Still totally Force of the Forbidden Dragon Sword. You'll see that. But, yeah. Let's get into what this song is about. Remember, in Latin, it translates to, like, dawn is almost near. Or the opposite. Actually, I have no clue. Let's look at that again. Jesus Christ. And I said remember. It's evening approaches. So darkness draws near. I had that. Yeah, literally the opposite, like I said. But yeah, so just remember that. Things are getting dark.
Valley of shadow and death. I don't really want to go there. Hurt all over, bleeding nowhere. Can see a future, feeling so scared. Crepuscular times. No hopeless cause I'm blind. Eclipsed by the night, feel it inside. My birthday's today, but I feel like I've died. And I know, and I know, and I know I still can't see the light.
Does that remind you of anything? Of course, the first song.
Play it again.
So let's run it back.
And I know, and I know, and I know I still can't see the light.
Background vocals?
Oh, the callback.
That's right.
I still can't breathe alright. I'm popping pills to get the ceiling finished. I built the roof just to impede my vision. Loosen the noose, I want to see the image of the sky in the night. Morning's coming any minute. Looking back, new pictures of my ex, and she's looking sex. I'm greedy for money from God, I stay running. The punishment for me is shadow and death. Had this mirage, kid, I think I lost it. Drowning in darkness, I'll be more cautious every time. Yeah, cautious every time. Oh, the beauty's been broken. Hope you don't notice. Darkness approaches. I'm feeling hopeless every time. Hopeless every time.
Dedication to this pen in my hand, or typing away on the phone, a sequel to a slab, writing poetic syllables, hieroglyphics across the land, ancient arts of hard work, and I do it all for the craft. Rap creation, I started out as a nobody, still nobody knows me, but at least now I am a somebody. Grew up with no father, single mother, raising a bunch of kids, no
sisters or brothers,
but the neighborhood was family, and she did what she did.
I'm all for progression as long as you
Have a passion to support your growth, cause growing without any struggles is a little iffy, like if you really broke. Shout out to DAX for allowing the vent on the flow. Boys in your face and send you off peacefully on this lonely road.
I'm trying to please just singing the same flows. I stay tight cause I'm in the same boat.
Had this mirage, kid, I think I lost it. Drowning in darkness.
Let's go.
Every time. Hopeless every time.
Let's go.
Yo, DAX, Simio, bruh. Just want to say congrats on the album and hit me up when you get the chance. Peace.
Okay. Shout out to Timmy O, a man since day one. Okay, so this song is interesting. Personally, I'm still proud to this day in terms of how it sounds sonically, or at least in the musical aspect. And there's something interesting that I did. Not only did I call back to Silhouette in that I know, I know, I know at the beginning, but also in that whole little ending outro piece on the keys, I'm doing a doom 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 doom, which is a reference to Umbra, which technically was not even out when this album was released, and people could hear that part of the song. So when Umbra was released, it was like, oh shit, that's that part from the song, even though Umbra was actually already done. But
this project is sonically complete after it's been released fully 10 years later.
So Pete,
Gotta have a little sadness.
Hold on, wait.
Honestly, you know when the good times come. Waiting on the good times.
Listen to the beat, though. Right. So that is what I'm emulating at the end here. Oh wait, hold up. Let me see. You can kind of hear it in the back. I'm playing that all throughout that ending. It's on the singing part, on that part we just entered, and I'm mumbling something in the back with some growls, and eventually you'll hear me, like, very, like, faintly talking about blame it on the Umbra. And then, right here. Right there, go ahead and blame it on the Umbra. So yeah, there's some tie-ins going on here. The album is kind of wrapping up. And to be fair, something that I had in mind when making that song is that Avis Parasket is sort of like a false ending to it. You could end AURENE on that note because ultimately it's an album about embracing the darkness. But guess what? The last track on the proper album is Iridescent. Oh, I'm so excited!
Look into the prison and we standing up beginning to get step into the rhythm of the sun. I've been in a tunnel, where's it coming from? I've seen the light, and it's alright, 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 baby. Iridescent, 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 shining so you get the message. Iridescent, 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 the light is the lesson, you know. Iridescent, iridescent. When I'm rapping, ears are deafened. Rainbows got me never stressing. Wake you up like evanescence. So high up, I never descend. Chucks and knife, get the message, so I go once I get it. Tick out the horror, no medics. Keep on the board with the Saturday part of the imperative. When you know what the legend is, dark. When it's out of the never leaving the mark. Keep L to the minimum. CW's like DC shows. I'm all of that, boy. DAX has seen the light. He's past AURENE tonight. I have no doubt, I know that. Shout out to Venom like Gabi, I get him. I'm made for the light like the Force Day. Viva la vida, I see you in paradise. Thanks for the way I have made all these old plays. Shogun in these ways that set me free.
Let's go, let's go.
Photons in the dark is what I see. I'm just looking to the prison and we standing up beginning to get step into the rhythm of the sun. Woo! I've been in a tunnel, where's it coming from? I've seen the light, and it's alright, 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 baby. Iridescent, 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 shining so you get the message. Iridescent, 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 the light is the lesson, you know. AURENE, I do so AURENE, because that's AURENE, my God, I rap like AURENE, I speak like Gandhi, nobody is touching Dubby, when I shop for AURENE. Alyssa Campanella, tell me what you can be my shawty. Got a stupid body in a wicked face, no Illuminati when you try to shake, like an art fetish, go hard in the paint. Darkness claims it's winning, but I know it ain't. Every color shining through the glass it came. You see something pretty in the window pane. Every hue I'm using in my saddest rain. With the silhouettes and changing all my names, from the infrared into the ultra V. Now I really believe I'm supposed to B. Double left when in my darkest dreams. I'm just iridescent when it's over me. So gone in the ways that set me free. Photons in the dark is what I see. I'm just iridescent, 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 iridescent. Shining so you get the message. Iridescent, 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 iridescent. The light is the light, you know.
Let's go. Write us out. You hear that?
Yeah.
God. Hello? Hello?
Can I make a bad pun now?
Okay.
I guess you're done dreaming.
Nigga, yes! I just woke up at the end of that song to my phone buzzing. Like the voicemails that would have been trying to come through as actual legitimate calls throughout the entire album. Okay. Let it be known that in Future Fantasy I was trying to find sleep. And this one I'm dead asleep. And I'm trying to be woken up by these calls. Okay. And on Iridescent, the way that it ends, because I finally learned this lesson of what it is, what transitions in?
Hello?
How long is this runtime again? Like over an hour?
The album?
Yeah.
I have no idea, actually.
Because, like, I like to imagine that the entire album takes place within a 5-minute span in your head, but it's just an hour long.
Oh, sure. Like, it was just me, like, dozing off for, like, 5.
Yeah, like 5 more minutes of sleep, and this is the drink.
But peep, one more time, and I'll show you the answer.
Hello?
It transitions into...
You wanna know what you should do? Fucking see if you can get, like, a cue next thing. Play the ending and have it transition into that real quick.
Oh, sure. Let me see. Guys, this is on the fly. Oh, my bad.
Hello?
It might not even be perfect, to be honest, but...
Hello?
It was an alright transition.
It's satisfying, yeah. So...
Yeah. No, that was it. Yeah, keep it going.
But so the lesson is that after you went through Future Fantasy, after you go through AURENE, what it leads to, if you learn the lesson, if you really, like, get it, that AURENE and Future Fantasy are to live in harmony, which you transition into, and waking up from this pillow trilogy, from this dream, is bliss plus blunder, which is the reality, right? That life is that. It's not Future Fantasy, it's not AURENE, it's both. Which is really the crux of this whole trilogy, of this message I'm putting out there. And I know it sounds like I'm wrapping up this album review already, but that's because the next song is really just a bonus track, so it'll be what it is. But in Bliss Plus Blunder, I'm focusing on this chick, for feminism's sake. I'm kind of like doing a lot of songs from the feminist perspective or whatever, right? And Future Fantasy, Lightning is the protagonist of this game that I sort of based the project on. So she's sort of the woman in that. In this, the girl in question is actually, the model literally is this chick, Kelsey. I forget what her last name is. She goes by Father Kels on Instagram. You'll see her on the cover art as well on this little like thing. But she's the physical representation of it. But she's also the same continuation of the dream, if you want to personify the dream as a shorty. And I even try to allude to that On this cover art, you can't see it perfectly, but she's rocking pink hair here, which is to be compared to how Lightning, the protagonist in Final Fantasy 13, has pink hair as well. So it's as if those ties continue. Yeah, the dream is figuring this out, that if life is good or bad or not. I finally woke up from the dream. We'll get more into that later. But the last song is End Area. Just a good old nerdcore song. Let's get into it. It features Walter West and Crisis. Mega Man. Walter snaps. Favorite verse still.
Colonel, what's the call for DAX 9?
Asset 9, battle line.
Mitigate decisions and eliminate division. Make your bunny disappear as if I imitate magicians. Double team BS with Dax, I'm trying to illustrate the vision. Tell your hoe to shut her mouth, we on a liberation mission. Fireman flows, got my iris on the candle. I'm a player in the game and you a virus on the panel. Got her ratchet trying to bust it, but her heart cold. I ain't trying to fall between the trap inside her dark hole. Ricky with the rhetoric, sleep with every predicate. Blast her like a sedative, I body them with etiquette. Never on top of the net and play the cartridge on the regular. Ready to battle the threat and slay the darkness of the nebula. Better retreat when I execute my EXC. This map for like a damn safari. Doper than your damn Atari. Young and reckless slay Hikari. Power up and reconfigure the rap. Crisis stacks and multi Wallace. We can liberate the track. Go.
Ninja assassinating in the quiet. Hell yeah, we bout it, so we go. Element of surprise. Hell yeah, we got it, so we trust in the master. Goku knocks faster, pray no disaster. Charge up a blast, heroes.
Let's get it.
Let's liberate an area.
Robes tight with my hood on fitted. Hitman for hire, I'm killing for business. It's my blade on Damascus. I know what my task is. I murder this track shit. How do I do it? No, do not ask shit. Hands full of kunai. Infinite Suki on me, bitch. I got the moon eyes. I'm a beast on any field. Three-headed dragon, blue eyes. My sword skills legendary. A nigga spit the blue sky. Hand signs like them gang signs. That's a coxie. Fucking with my moxie. That's a oxymoron. The flow, Bruce Lee. It move with what I pour it on. Convert the language. It's truly ancient like Porygon. I'm surfing shit, no board, I'm on Vaporeon. Trap like the Viet Cong, go fucking rain the gone. Sipping on tea, that's that oolong. Niggas get folded, like Oregon.
Ninja assassinating in the quiet.
Let's go! These niggas delivered.
Go, element of surprise. Hell yeah, we got it, so we trust in the master. Goku knocks faster, pray no disaster. Charge up a blast, heroes. Let's liberate an area.
DJ DAX with the parasites, shooting the parasites. Trouble in paradise, someone get a paradise. Someone's on the job. Fight 100 warriors, future beta squad. Welcome to my city. It's a captivity. I serve a time god, so I'm a trilogy. Moonblade Doomsday, hit 'em with the screen device. Slice and they won't see the knife. What a time to be alive. Getting rid of dark me, liberated, kill it easily. Walter, Crisis, we gon' run the program. Call it EXC. Killing the track, you never retire. Ain't never y'all, I ain't no liar. Cutting the bars, the beat is a fire. Clutching with kernels so we don't expire. So here we are wired. Roaming the net, spreading hope to the next one. We killing this fresh on me, we will retire.
Hell yeah, we bout it, so we go. Element of surprise. Hell yeah, we got it, so we trust in the master. Goku knocks faster, pray no disaster. Charge up a blast, heroes. Let's liberate, Ninjas assassinating in the quiet. Hell yeah, we bout it, so we go. Element of surprise. Hell yeah, we got it, so we trust in the master. Goku knocks faster, pray no disaster. Charge up a blast, heroes. Let's liberate an area.
Yes, sir.
What a project that was.
What a what?
What a project that was.
Yeah. Man.
This is your Bermunity 808s and Heartbreaks, bro.
No, I think inherently Artificial EP2 is that. But
that's just 808s and Heartbreaks. But yeah, this is a solid. Like I said, this is Dookie. This is like the culmination of everything.
Yes, I mean, and honestly, Bliss Plus Blunder and AURENE are similar in my head in that I feel like with AURENE, I tackled it similarly in that I also was trying to be DJ Khaled in getting together a nice crew of people on the track list. Lay Real, Jarrell, Ishida, some people knew Fax Fades, Peace, Sage, which was like one of the first paid features I ever did, Jaquel again, Lay, Lone Moon was in a certain different circle, but I mean, he's sort of around our circles. Real Venom, Walter West, Crisis, and really, throughout this entire album, I don't rap on any community beat except for that Just X thing, right? I mean, just on including the bonus track. And that's because there was an active effort of making the sound not necessarily something that they would expect. And I think I did that. I mean, it's not as unique nowadays, nor was it really in the mainstream then. But to the community, no one had really tried to make a honed-in sound like that. Like, it's clearly darker, sort of reaching for mainstream. I didn't even know it yet, but I was definitely inspired by Travis Scott without really, like, running into him that much. But, yeah. It's like an edgier Bliss Plus Blunder almost. But, yeah, that's...
I don't know what the ultimate tech would have been.
Yes.
If at the end of End Area, it would be a transition into Artificial 2.
Like yeah. No, totally.
Be the tech. They never see it coming. 3 years
never
in advance.
See
or
it
something.
coming.
The next one's Done Dreaming and.
So tomorrow we have Done Dreaming, which is sort of the post-mortem to that trilogy we just went through, the Pillow Trilogy. It's an EP, sort of, in that it's shorter. It's 6 tracks. This is going to be so much fun because it's my foray into a lo-fi project. And it's actually the first project, drum roll, where I used Bit Crusher. Oh boy.
Great.
For those that know that meme, I mean, this is the inception of that.
Then you got AVR Forever.
AVR Forever, which, funny enough, is at 72 likes. Jesus Christ.
Honestly, I think that's your most notorious project, in my opinion.
Honestly, dude, this AVR Forever is insane. I don't love it anymore in terms of like it's so scatterbrained, but oh my god, what a feat. Done Dreaming is a 6-track project. AVR Forever is 18, which obviously is too shy from Begin the Legends 20. But remember, the quality is a little different this time around. And what I did in terms of a rollout was that every week for several weeks, I think it was like 6 weeks, honestly, I could do the quick math, but I'm not good at math. I dropped 3 songs a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And yeah, it was insane. In that the plays are even what they are on these tracks for that much incessant posting is like, I'm beyond grateful that even panned out that way. Say what you want to say about whether or not you want to hear that music or not. But yeah, tomorrow is going to be exciting in that aspect. Because
tomorrow we get the sequel to Bliss Plus Blunder.
That's right.
And AVR Forever.
Yeah, we get a little bit. If you liked my lore stuff with Bliss Plus Blunder, Future Fantasy, AURENE, you're getting a little bit more of that with Done Dreaming, which is kind of like a farewell to all that, to that specific arc or story or whatever. And then AVR Forever is kind of my big return to, or sort of introduction at the same time. It's a nerdcore, in that throughout my career, I had been doing nerdcore stuff the entire time, sort of in my singles, and in Bliss Plus Blunder, there's a few nerdcore, like, specific songs. But in AVR Forever, it's like, look, y'all niggas sure love this nerdcore stuff. I'm gonna show you how it's done. Mad topics, mad beats and styles, blah blah blah. Y'all are getting 18 songs of this hoe. So it's gonna get very special. Shout out to Legit 2047 who said AVR was sick. That's a real one right there. I mean, cause yeah, I mean, I am proud of AVR all in all. And Done Dreaming, I mean, people sleep on it. No pun intended. It's interesting in its own right. And a lot of people didn't realize that what I was doing also throughout this entire discography thing was constantly switching up my style. Bliss Plus Blunder was that incarnate in that it was a variety pack, a sample pack. Future Fantasy was a thing, you know, positivity and, you know, it's about Final Fantasy sort of. AURENE, it's like negative and it's sort of mainstream sounding and whatever. But then with Done Dreaming, I was like, dude, I just did a mainstream tape. Boom, lo-fi tape on your asses, because I can do that. I can switch it up. And of course, the nerdcore tape on the next wing, switching it up once again. Artificial, switching it up once again. Daxing in the Bazank, switching it up once again. The tape, switching it up once again. Bizarre Dax, but kind of going back to Dax in the Bazank in a little sense. But yeah, I sort of switching it up because it wasn't literally the last project that I just did. Dissension, switching it up once again. Hot Nigga, switching it up once again. Y'all never know what the train's gonna give. But it keeps
honestly,
going.
What does AVR stand for? What's that?
AVR stands for anime rapper. It's like, no, it's actually anime video game rapper. So yeah, I like anime rap. I like anime rap.
I fucking knew it. I was like, does AVR stand for like audio visual recording or anime video game rapper?
Yeah, that's what it is. And there's still some stuff I want to go into with AURENE and Final Fantasy in a bit. But let it be known that throughout a lot of my music, I dropped hints that AVR Forever was a thing, referring to myself as the AV rapper. I said that on something.
Adult video rapper.
Funny. That, yeah, Jav rapper.
Yeah, fucking porn man.
Yeah. But it's literally mentioned on Future Fantasy where I'm like saying AVR's on the way. And, of course, Trouble in Paradise, which is not Pace of Peace Trouble in Paradise, but actually my axed project, Trouble in Paradise. But yeah, I don't want to talk about it too much because tomorrow we got the day for that. But on stream you'll see this, or actually I guess I can switch it for you as well, Camo. On stream you'll see this. I want to show you guys a little bit of the notes on AURENE and Future Fantasy and Bliss for Splendor. We already went through some stuff for Bliss. Special in my heart, the reviews, right, that I got from A Genius and Peso Pete. And the Future Fantasy notes, let's see what we got here. Yeah, you know, all the lyrics and whatnot. Some promotional descriptions and stuff that I had prepped. The mixtape. Yeah. Oh, look at this. I'm also thinking the direction for this project is much more inspirational, faith-based, with more nerdcore references and more cinematic as a whole. The tag is hope we need, hope we'll see, hope we'll be. This is a slight reference to how badly Lightning fights for hope. The aim is to kind of make this a better tomorrow we live, which is a deep cut, but yeah. And I even have a link here to an article where they like touched on it, and it was cool that people even cared about this. Shout out to Game Music for All for highlighting the project and thinking that it was good. Let me see. There's another link here of someone touching on it. Let's see if this link is even active anymore. Yeah, it is. So another person highlighting the project on In the Loop Radio. And look at that. I hate Final Fantasy 13 with a passion. And yeah, that's like a thing that I, wanted to consciously do. Tie in the fact that Final Fantasy 13 sort of sucks, but my life sort of sucks. Yay! So yeah, good memories with Future Fantasy. And lastly, with AURENE, let's see any things here. Yeah, the descriptions that I wanted to do, some teasers and stuff that I had planned. Let me see. Let's see the actual doc. Cameos, all the cameos that are here. Xiomara, Peso Pete, Diggs, Idania, Hentai Dude, Timio, Maverick, Ryzy K. Oh yeah, he was in the beginning of Eisengrau. I didn't even point it out. He was like, "Yo, what up, Dax? Wake up, man. Blah, blah, blah. We got to get this money," or something like that. Man God with his intro, Infrarojo. You know, describing what I thought the songs are about, the concept, so I really knew where to take it. See these check marks? This is when I finally finished a project, and I was like, yes. Or rather, each song, I would check off what was done. The features, the samples. I sampled I Write Sins Not Tragedies by Panic at the Disco on the first song. Bob Ross's Light and Dark speech. You know, say Mañana. It was all a dream, which, you know, we'll be done dreaming tomorrow. That was the whole thing, by Biggie. There's some Andy Mineo clips. Porcelain. Damn it, I'm geeking out. But let's go back to real quick. On AURENE, the song Ad Visperasket or whatever. Very important to touch on this. There's a sample at the end. I gotta switch it over for you, Camo. Let me see here. Boop. So that you can hear. The sample that comes in here. The female singer. Yeah. That's a song called Porcelain. That, as you'll see here on stream, that's by Scott. That song.
Was?
Nope. That song has a hook saying, "I'm not porcelain," which ties into the whole theme of the project. That, you know, it's all based on this vase, this AURENE looking vase, and you know, I'm talking about being broken and this and that final confession of "I'm not porcelain" or whatever. You can hear the drums that I took in the outro here. Let's see if we can find the hook. Beautiful song. But that's, nigga, I was in that whole mixing and mastering. Barely mastering. But yeah, making use of these samples for the sake of, what's it called? Making the song cooler. Or whatever the hell. Adding some depth to it. So yeah, like this is, what a rich trilogy. The last note I want to show y'all before I head on out is I was actually supposed to make a little mini doc, or actually a whole doc, about the trilogy. It was supposed to be called The Pillow Trilogy Post-Mortem. And I was going to explain every album in that trilogy. It wasn't going to explain the Done Dreaming part because it's technically outside of it. But look at this. Actual breakdowns for the development of Bliss Plus Blunder. You know, getting into it. Like the art and all of that. Song breakdowns. So things that... Imagine the insight that I gave when I spoke about these songs live on stream. It's pretty much everything that you see here. And just breaking down, you know, what they mean as songs, what they mean in relation to the lore of the entire project or whatever. Future Fantasies development, all the song breakdowns for all those songs. AURENE's development. All
we have like everything written out.
Exactly, and this is something that,
you know what?
Yeah.
You know what? You can still do the doc. I'm willing to edit it.
That's right.
And I'm willing to be the one person you call as a reference. So as listening to this, I can tell you that everything is somewhat true in some sense.
Okay. And look, here's like the culmination, like the and this is all to say the Pillar Trilogy is about the morality of life. The question at hand throughout all of the albums is whether it's all either a good dream or a nightmare. Regardless, I want to wake up. On Future Fantasy, it's good. On AURENE, it's bad. On Bliss Plus Blunder, there is no dream, blah, blah, blah. But it's really both, or whatever. Really what it all comes down to, is that both Future Fantasy and Aurene start with a slow fade to indicate a dream, while Blissful Blunder starts with a sharp jump into a poignant boom bap sample, emphasizing the blunt, solid, true nature of its ideology. Both albums play on vision. One is about seeing what's ahead in time as one's present, Future Fantasy. The other is about the inability to see at all and finding beauty in the darkness, Aurene. The albums differ in that one has me going back to sleep to recapture the sweet dream, and the other has me so agitated by the dream that I'm forced to answer the wake-up call. The overarching message here, my wake-up call, is that really there's no point in seeing life as objectively good or bad. There's a danger in being pessimistic and ignoring all your blessings. And there's a danger in being optimistic and ignoring all your issues. Either bias, you're not really seeing life for what it is. True knowledge, enlightenment, whatever, comes from understanding that life is just what it is. And what exactly that may be is partially up to you to decide. On their own, Future Fantasy and Aurene are there to relate on a personal level. One to tell you things will get better, and the other to tell you there's beauty to be found in you overcoming tragedy. Bliss Plus Blunder is just the most accurate representation of who I am, ideologically, as a person.
I gotta head out like soon, but I'm gonna leave you with one comment about Aurene, bro.
Yeah.
Light colors are only so vibrant because of how contrasted they are to the darkness.
Exactly. It's pretty much what Bob Ross said. You don't have light without dark, which is the crux of this entire thing. Guys, thanks for coming out. Tamo's got to go, but I mean, in terms of my final words, God, the Pillow Trilogy is a moment in my discography, and I'm glad I was able to share that with y'all. It's been a crazy ride. And we'll kind of get some aftertaste of that tomorrow with Done Dreaming and a completely different direction with AVR Forever. But, I mean, this whole ride of sharing albums has been crazy, and we're not even, it's 7 days, so we're sort of halfway done. Yeah, it's getting crazy. After tomorrow, I feel like we start a half of my discography that is special because you'll get to meet the Bemunity, meaning my buddies, the people that I'm frequent collaborators with. That's its own fun time too, like its own moment, like its own Pillow Trilogy or whatever. So I'm just generally excited, guys. We'll keep going on. We'll keep critiquing. Please, throughout these songs, if you hear something that's trash, if you hear something that you love, just say it in chat. I'm definitely trying to reach out to you guys and like humor y'all while it's going on. Because I enjoy that too. It's definitely more of a conversation. And I'm enjoying what we've dialogued about so far, guys. So thank you. Tomorrow, 10 p.m. right here, twitch.tv/PreacherDudeRocks. I almost said PDR because it's the shortened version of that. But Done Dreaming. AVR Forever. Mañana. Take care, guys. And good night.